What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are traveling 4 years into the future to UC 0087. Last time, we saw Operation Stardust play out, and because of another colony drop, Earth forces create the Titans to find and destroy any remaining Xeon remnants. However, over the course of the past 4 years, the Titans take advantage of the power given to them. The Titans' abuse of this power led to the Anti-Earth Union group to fight against the Titans, or AUG. We will learn more about Camille Bidan, and we will see the return of the man, the myth, the legend, Bright Noah. And we also meet a man named Quattro, definitely not Char. So let's get into this. Before we dive into UC 0087, let's play catch up. March 10th, UC 0084. All information regarding the Gundam development project are erased from official records. July 31st, UC 0085. The Titans use poison gas in Colony 30 Side 1, killing millions of inhabitants. Because of this, the Anti-Earth Union group is formed. September 8th, UC 0085. The new Titans headquarters, GRIPS, begins construction at Side 7. February 6th, UC 0086. The asteroid Axis makes its way back to Earth sphere. And that brings us to UC 0087. 3 pilots out in space are testing out the new Rick Diaz. The RMS 099 Rick Diaz is the first mass-produced mobile suit created for AUG by Anaheim Electronics. It's a part of the Zeta project, which we will go into more detail in another video. Let's just say Anaheim Electronics is playing both sides and supplying both the Titans and the AUG. It has a Vulcan Phalanx, 300mm clay bazooka, beam pistols, a beam rifle, and a beam saber. One of its specialties is the booster binder. This backpack with thrusters acts as a boost to the mobile suits and back, or active mass balance auto control. Remember, during the Delaz conflict, we saw Ko go out in the GPO-1 with some wonky and back firmware. It makes this unit very mobile. Its development history stems from the GPO-2 Physalis. The red Rick Diaz is piloted by Quattro Bagina. On Side 7, we are introduced to Camille Bidan. It takes him less than 5 seconds of screen time for him to get smacked. He skips karate practice and goes straight to the spaceport. Ra Yuri tags along. As Camille and Quattro pass each other in space, they both sense something. Quattro wonders, is it Amado or Lala? It seems Camille has new type potential. Camille wanted to see the vessel that was bringing in Bright Noah. While at the spaceport, they run into the Titans. One of them says that Camille is a girl's name.
I thought I heard a girl's name. But that kid looks like a boy. But that kid looks like a boy. But that kid looks like a boy.
Those are fighting words for Camille. He throws down with the Titan, Jared Mesa. Jared kicks the girl in the face. Meanwhile, Quattro breaks into the new GRIPS colony. He scouts around to find mobile suits and a construction dock. As he takes photos, a black mobile suit appears out of nowhere. It tries to shoot at Quattro, but it is really hard for a mobile suit to shoot a person. This black mobile suit is the Gundam Mark II. The RX-178 Gundam Mark II is the successor to the RX-782 Gundam. It has a 360 panoramic screen and uses a movable frame concept. This incorporates all of the vital components into the design of the frame, which improves responsiveness. Also, many of its legs' movable parts are exposed. At the time, beam weapon technology still did great damage to the mobile suits, so EFF and the Titans took a firm do not get hit policy. What a time to be in the military. The Mark II fires on the colony, accidentally trying to kill Quattro. We are already seeing the Titans' lack of regard for humanity. Quattro makes his way back to the Rick Diaz. Based on how easy it was for Quattro to escape, it seems that GRIPS isn't completely operational. GRIPS is known to the rest of the world currently as Green Noah 1. It seems to people living on this colony don't realize that it is a secret Titans base. Camille is being interrogated by the Titans, during which he senses Quattro once again. Camille is free to go. His mother helps bail him out, but he starts another fight and gets beat up once again. Suddenly, a Mark II Gundam crashes into the building. Camille uses this opportunity to steal a jeep and flee from the base. Back in space, Quattro sends a message to the Argama to fire a hole in the side of the colony. It makes a direct hit. Quattro re-enters the colony with his two comrades. This time they are going to try to steal the Mark II. A few Jims are trying to keep up with the Rick-Doms and failing. Meanwhile, Basque wonders if the Rick-Dom is Char. This isn't one of their designs, and they wonder if this is created by the AUG. This man, who definitely isn't Char, moves like the Red Comet. The colony is getting destroyed. A Mark II is making its way towards Quattro. Camille heads towards the base. This is the location where his dad works. While Emma and Bright are figuring out who should use Unit 3, Camille just suddenly jumps in and starts piloting the mobile suit. It seems that Camille has stole a lot of information and data from his father's computer, which has mobile suit information on it apparently. Jared, the man who called Camille a girl, is the one fighting Quattro and his team. Camille isn't interested in the revolution happening before his eyes. He is only interested in hurting the officer who is making fun of him in jail. Camille then proceeds to fight against Jared's Mark II. Bright gets the same feeling from Camille that he got from Amado. Unit 3 overpowers Unit 2 and forces Jared out of his Gundam. Quattro believes that they could trust Camille. They escape with Unit 2. Camille joins them as he is tired of both EFF and the Titans. Meanwhile, the writers of the show said "F you" to Fa and Camille's house. Bright wonders why Basque is being so hostile. He responds with hostility. Quattro and Camille exit the colony. A group of Hyzaks come chasing after them. The RMS 106 Hyzak is the evolution of the Zaku 2, specifically the F2 type. It is fitted with a titanium alloy ceramic composite armor, which is way better than the Zaku. It has a shoulder shield, heat hawk, beam saber, missile launchers, beam rifles. This thing is very versatile. The Hyzak beam saber is technically an eye field that is blade shaped. The beam saber and beam rifle can't be used at the same time. As Unit 3 escapes, it seems that there is an air leak in the unit. He fixes it relatively quickly. They make their way towards the Argama. On the Bosnia, Lila and Chang Ya are monitoring movement and suspect that it is the AUG. Basque tells Bright to personally deliver a letter to Admiral Hyman. On the Argama, Quattro and the team start to think that Camille might be a new type. Lila goes out and scouts for AUG. She goes out in the Galbadi. The RMS 117 Galbadi Beta is what happens if a Gyan and a Gelgoog were stuffed into a single unit. In fact, the alpha version of this model was outbid by the Gelgoog during the 1-year war. It seems that developers are still around and finally were able to get their Galbadi made. Good for that random engineer. The Galbadi is comparable to the Gem 2. It is made with a titanium alloy ceramic composite. The leader of the AUG is Blex Forer. He was a former EFF officer who stands against the atrocities of the Titans. He used his political and business connections to form the AUG. Camille meets with Ensign Rekoa for the first time. The captain sends out Quattro. Back on Grips, Camille's dad slaps Camille's mom for mentioning his lover. So many slaps, and it's just episode 3. Quattro is able to take down one of the mobile suits. Lila is abruptly called back by a signal flare. Meanwhile, the Mark II Titans team make their way towards the Argama. Emma will be delivering a letter to the AUG. The Titans are on board the Alexandria. The Alexandria class ship is the evolution of the Musai class ship while also incorporating elements of the Pegasus class. During UC 0083, we talked about the Birmingham class ship and how EFF was so slow from a bureaucratic standpoint that they created a battleship with no mobile suit hangars in mind even post 1-year war. Its operational capabilities is equal to 4 Salamis Kai class ships. It has a twin megaparticle gun, a megaparticle gun, twin and triple anti-aircraft guns, missile launchers, and a beam shield. Emma in the Mark II is carrying a white flag. They let her on board to deliver a letter. The letter says that if AUG doesn't return the Mark II, Unit 3, and Camille, then they will execute Camille's parents. Camille finds out that his parents are captives. Suddenly, the Titans launch a capsule. It is Camille's mother, Hilda. Camille heads towards the hangar and gets in the Unit 3. While the AUG team are discussing what to do, they get an alert that Camille is heading out in the Gundam. Unit 3 heads over towards the capsule. As he grabs it, Jared in the Hyzak shoots and destroys the capsule, killing Camille's mother. It seems Jared was tricked into thinking that it was a bomb in the capsule. He is confused when it doesn't go boom and wonders if he is being lied to, but also doesn't really seem to care too much. Emma in the Gundam Mark II Unit 1 leaves the Argama. Quattro tries to calm down Camille, who starts to attack Jared. Emma tries to calm down both Camille and Jared. Quattro goes out and holds him down. It seems the AUG has no choice but to give the Titans the Mark II Unit 3 back. Back on the Titan ship, they get the Unit 3 hatch open to find a paralyzed Camille. Naturally, Emma slaps him. He gets out to find his father also on board. Camille tells him that his mom is dead and that he can now spend all his time with his whore. Naturally, Camille gets slapped once again. Franklin Bidan is upset, but ultimately Bask uses his mistress to blackmail him and shuts him up. Bask tells Emma to meet up with Layla and the Bosnia and to use the Mark II Gundams. However, Emma is considering defecting and joining the AUG. She asks Camille's father and Camille to join them. They take out Emma's comrades, Kakarot and Dava. Camille and Franklin take their place as the Mark II pilots. Jared calls out for Kakarot and recognizes that something is up. Emma forces the hangar door open. They launch from the Alexandria. Bask begins firing on the Mark II units. Franklin's unit was so damaged that it was going slower than usual. Layla launches from the Bosnia. Quattro launches from the Argama. Quattro meets up with the Mark II units and they all regroup at the AUG ship. At the Argama, Quattro wonders why Emma decided to defect. She said she is following her heart. Meanwhile, Franklin Bidan is only interested in looking at the design of the Hyzak. It seems there is much conflict between Camille and his father. On the Alexandria, Bask and Jamaicon are talking about the data they collected on the Rick Diaz. Bask plans to return to grips on the Brunei. Jamaicon asks if they should attack Granada to flush out any AUG sympathizers. Bask tells Jamaicon to show no mercy. At the Argama, Quattro wants to pilot the Mark II for an assault. They are currently painting the Gundams, so they don't have the Titans' colors anymore. Franklin Bidan is annoyed by how the technicians are treating the Gundam. He goes in to show them how it's done, but he actually takes the tech's wielding gun and uses it to take a hostage and steal a Rick Diaz. Franklin punches a guy off the Argama. Is that guy dead? He steals Quattro's red Rick Diaz. The AU crew is informed. Quattro heads towards the hangar. Roberto and Apolli launch in their Rick Diaz. Quattro goes to find Camille wanting to chase after his father. He asks him if he truly thinks he could fire at his own father. Quattro gets in the Mark II and catches up with Apolli and Roberto. AU Commander Blex and Henkin Beckner, the captain of the ship, says that Quattro reminds them of the Red Comet from the 1-Year War. We talked about the AU Commander Blex, but we never talked about Henkin Beckner, the captain of the Argama. During the 1-Year War, Henkin was the captain of the Surugu, a modified Salamis ship with a cargo block added, during the Battle of Abawaku. Henkin also shows up in Gundam The Ride, Abawaku, which was a theme park ride in Japan that no longer exists but looks amazing. Meanwhile, Jamaicon notices the approaching mobile suits and sends out Jared in the Hyzaks. The AU catch up with Franklin. As they capture him, suddenly the Titans and the Hyzak appear. Camille steals the damaged Gundam Mark II. It is missing an arm, but Camille doesn't care. Bask makes his way to the Brunei. The Alexandria is now safe to attack the Argama. Camille catches up to his father, but Franklin attempts to shame Camille. He hesitates. Quattro comes in and tells him that hesitating can cost him his life. But Camille was able to get a good hit on the Rick Diaz. The explosion causes Franklin's body to be flung out into the abyss of space. Camille attempts to go after the Titans, but Quattro stops him and brings him back to the Argama. Camille blames the military as the source of why his mother cares only about work and led his father to have a mistress. Quattro empathizes, but still tells Camille to quit being a bitch. Back at EFF, Lila meets with the Titans. Jamaicon gives a briefing on their next move. Camille is designing his own mobile suit. He passively gives it to Rekua. Rekua asks Emma why she left the Titans. This is where we learn about the Colony 30 of Side 1 and how they used G3 poison gas. This gas is stronger than a VX nerve agent or mustard gas and was developed by NATO. Hey, they actually did something for once. Meanwhile, on the Alexandria, Lila beats up Jared. She tells him that he will never have the true instincts of a space noid. He is kind of into it and asks Lila to teach him her ways. Lila and Jared launch from the Bosnia. The Argama pick them up on radar. Quattro, Apoli, and Roberto launch. Quattro is in the Mark II. The AUG allied ship, the Mont Blanc, joins the Argama during the Titans' attack. The Mont Blanc is a Salamis Kai ship. While this is all happening, Rekua has her own mission where she is heading to Earth. They prep for her launch while they are in battle. Camille doesn't like the current situation, so he goes out in the one-armed Mark II Gundam to protect her. The rules are pretty lax on the Argama. They really need someone with a good slap as captain. Quattro, Apoli, and Roberto head back to the Argama and Mont Blanc, which is being attacked. 90 seconds before they launch Rekua's pod, the Hisinka, they don't make it back in time before the Mont Blanc goes down. Back on Earth, Amado senses something happening in space above him. Jared attacks Camille in the Mark II. 60 seconds until Rekua launches. Quattro is being slowed down by Jims. Camille gets the upper hand on Jared. 3 seconds. Rekua launches. Jared returns in his Hyzak. Camille takes off his arm as Jared retreats again. Rekua underestimates Camille's abilities. Camille wonders what her mission on Earth involves. Jared is mad that he lost to Camille once again. The captain officially makes Camille a pilot on the Argama. Camille wants to think it over before becoming an official pilot. Back on the Alexandria, Jamaicon is trying to figure out where the hidden AU base is located. They know it's going to either be Side 1, Side 2, or the moon. Lila suggests to Jamaicon that her crew go back to the Bosnia, and their fleet and the Titans can divide and conquer. This pushes Jamaicon's buttons, but he agrees. That really did it for Jared because he asks Lila out for drinks when she gets back. She accepts and takes off towards the Bosnia. The Argama reaches Colony 30. The captain wants to show Emma what the Titans have done with her own eyes. Camille, Quattro, and Emma head out in the colony on foot. Camille and Emma are taken aback by what they are seeing. Lila goes into Colony 30 to chase after the AUG. While out, Quattro goes on a rant about how the people of this colony were simply preaching the ideals of contolism. What is contolism? We discussed this in our first video, so I will sum it up. It is the idea that mankind should leave Earth and let it evolve naturally. An Earth void of humanity. Naturally, Basque responded by murdering the millions in the colony. Quattro tells Emma the main reason this colony was gassed was because Earth is starting to get afraid of new types and the space noids were getting complacent. Lila enters the colony and overhears all this. She denies Basque's wrongdoings. She pushes Camille and runs off. They get back to the Argama fast. Camille goes out into the Mark II, this time with 2 arms. He goes after Lila's Galbadi. Jared wants to go out, but Jamaicon prevents him and tells him to keep his emotions out of the mission. Camille tries to get Lila to consider Quattro's words, but she refuses. They fight around the colony. Lila is starting to panic. Camille hides in the colony debris and hits the Galbadi. Camille's skills are top-notch. He shoots and takes down Lila and her Galbadi. Jared isn't going to get that date. Back at the Argama, the AU crew welcomes Camille as a pilot. However, Camille is starting to get frustrated that everyone is trying to make him a soldier. Emma calms down Camille by telling her a story about the time she met Amado Ray. Jared goes out into one of Lila's Galbadis. Camille and Quattro go out to take care of him. Jared is frustrated that Camille killed Lila. The Galbati is drawing him away from the Argama, which plans on pretending to head towards Granada on the moon before changing course to Amman. Jared seems to be more experienced at fighting on the moon's surface than Camille. The Galbati destroys the Gundam's beam rifle. They fight with their beam sabers. Suddenly, Quattro assists Camille in the Rick Diaz. Jared retreats. The Titans go towards Granada, while the Ayug heads towards Amman, a small city near Granada. Camille and Quattro both sense that the Galbati pilot was fighting with the spirit of Lila. They both are exhibiting new type abilities. A man named Kignan meets with Quattro. He calls him Captain, meaning he knows he is Char Aznamol. Kignan lets Quattro know that Axis is making its way back to the Earth sphere. He also lets him know that Grip's colony is also on the move. Jared went out during a suspension, so Jamaicon throws him in the brig. Meanwhile, Quattro goes to the greatest fast food chain on the moon, McDaniel. He meets with Wong Lee. Lee is an AUG investor, and he wants to make a move on Jaburo. Meanwhile, Emma and Camille are attacked by Kakaran while driving around Amman. It is here that Camille stumbles onto Haro in a random junkyard. They get back in their car and run off with their new Haro friend. Jaburo, South America, Earth, EFF's main headquarters. Rekawa is spying in Jaburo when some soldiers capture her. Out of nowhere, Kai Shiden comes in and saves Rekawa. For those who didn't watch my History of the 1 Year War videos, Kai Shiden was a smart-mouthed pilot on board White Base during the 1 Year War. After the war, he returned to his hometown and became a journalist. The Titans are leaving Granada and heading out in the Bosnia and Alexandria. Anaheim Electronics is resupplying EFF. Back at the Argama, Camille is fixing up Haro when Emma comes in and slaps him. He is more or less a soldier, and to get moving. Kai tells Rekawa that EFF is moving their headquarters to a new location. Wong is returning with Quattro to the ship when he runs into Camille and naturally kicks his ass for being late. Wong wants Camille to be focusing on piloting mobile suits and not working on intelligence gathering. He wakes up, Emma slaps him again and tells him that this is not how things are done in the military. Emma also tells him that his arrogance will get him killed one day. Quattro, Apoli, and Roberto launch. Quattro is piloting the new Hyakushiki. The MSN-100 Hyakushiki, or Type 100, is a mobile suit a part of Project Zeta. We will deep dive into Project Zeta soon, but for now, know that Hyakushiki was developed from the Delta Gundam. The Delta Gundam was a transforming mobile suit using Anaheim Electronics' new movable frame. The movable frame separated the inner frame from the sensors and actuators. This makes it extremely easy to replace and repair parts. However, the transformation system proved to be too difficult to produce. The non-transformable version of the Delta Gundam became the Hyakushiki. Hyakushiki means Type 100 in Japanese, as its creators wanted this mobile suit to last 100 years. Oh, gold. Its gold color is due to its beam-resistant coating. It has Vulcans, a beam saber, a beam rifle, a clay bazooka, and the mega bazooka launcher that we will see in action. Camille stops acting like a child and finally launches in the Mark II Gundam. He catches up with the others. The Titans were watching the city of Amman and waiting for AU to make their move. They prepare for immediate takeoff. They also question whether Anaheim Electronics are assisting the AUG. They are, Jamaicon. They are. Anaheim Electronics offers their services for free to the Titans, so they don't get too suspicious of their actions. Jamaicon gives Jared another chance to prove himself after everything that happened with Lila. The AUG's plan is to test out the Hyakushiki while helping out Granada. They want to capture the Titan ship. The AUG sends out Nemos to help the Argama's team. The MSA-3 Nemo is based off of EFF's Gem 2 and is AUG's mass-produced grunt unit. Like many units of the time, it is the result of Anaheim Electronics bringing in former Xeon engineers to improve upon an initial EFF design. The Nemo also has a movable frame. Unlike the Gems, which uses titanium alloy ceramic composite, this uses Gundarium. Now what is Gundarium? It is essentially Luna Titanium, which the original RX-78 Gundam was made out of. Since Luna Titanium became known to the world, others have tried to replicate it. Gundarium Alpha, which is used on the Nemo, is essentially a reverse-engineered Luna Titanium. They get out of their mobile suits. Quattro gives Camille a gun and says, "Welcome to the war, baby. Let's do this." Maybe he should take the safety off. The Titans shoot down the port in Amman and close off any escape. Camille is able to sense that all the way from Granada. Emma goes out and fights Kakrakan. Camille finally convinces Quattro that they need to get back to Amman to help out because of his spidey sense. Kakrakan goes out in his Hyzak. He engages with Emma in the Rikdias. Kakrakan is able to get the upper hand, but Camille in the Mark II comes in and helps her out. Kakrakan retreats. Camille tells Emma that he was able to sense her distress when Amman was attacked. Camille said he saw her floating in her head. New types, man. On Earth, both Rekawa and Kaishiden are planning on breaking into Jaburo. I mean, we eventually find out that it's abandoned, but 2 people are trying to break into the most guarded place on Earth. The Ayug is planning a mission to infiltrate Jaburo. Quattro doesn't seem to like this. However, he recognizes that Axis Zeon will get involved in some way, shape, or form, so getting the Titans out of the situation is the only solution. Now remember, after the 1-year war, besides a few Zeon factions, most retreated to Axis, an asteroid far outside of the Earth sphere. The Axis fleet made their appearance during Operation Stardust, but Axis itself has remained a mystery. Soon the asteroid will make its way towards the Earth's sphere. Once that happens, there will be another variable that will have to be taken care of. At the Alexandria, Anaheim Electronics gave the Ayug prototype, the Marusai, to the Titans to get them off their backs about helping the Ayug. The RMS-108 Marusai is an improvement on the Hyzak and is one of the first second-generation mobile suits created. This unit utilizes a lot of Xeon technology, but EFF's movable frame can be found inside the Marusai. What made the Marusai special was the ultra-compact Minovsky fusion reactor. We are starting to see engineers iterating on the original fusion reactor and making it smaller and more powerful. Because of this, the Marusai is a beam weapons master. Jamaicon, however, knows that Anaheim Electronics is playing both sides. Jared heads out in the new Marusai. As the Ayug make their departure from Amman, the city is attacked. The Argama crew launches in their mobile suits. There's a scouting unit watching over Amman City. Quattro takes it out instantly. Jared and Kakrakan fight Camille. The Marusai is a very fast unit. The Mark II is able to trick Jared and get the upper hand. While the Titans are attacking, the city sends out Petite Mobiles, which is hilarious. Petite Mobiles are mobile construction workers, but they can be retrofitted with weapons, which we will see here. One Petite Mobile is equipped with a hyperbeam cannon and distracts Jared and the Titans. Because of this, the Argama is finally able to make their departure from Amman. The city has suffered heavy damage, but they finally make their retreat. The captain congratulates Camille for his good efforts during the battle. The Argama stumbles onto the Temptation. Camille knows that this is Bright Noah's ship. The Ayug launches from the Argama. The Hyakushiki is equipped with its Mega Bazooka. Following the Temptation is the Masala. The PMX 000 Masala is piloted by the man from Jupiter, Paptimus Sirocco. It was also personally created by Sirocco himself. I believe this might be the first time that we've seen a unit in action that wasn't made by the military-industrial complex. It was designed to be used in Jupiter's atmosphere. Because of this, when on Earth, it is fast and powerful. This isn't a mobile suit with a mobile armor mode. It is designed to be a mobile armor that has a mobile suit mode, which is interesting. Quattro sees that the Masala starts attacking the shuttle. It attacks civilians, which gives Quattro the go-ahead to fire on the Masala. The Masala retreats for now. The Temptation crew boards the Argama. Bright is sad that another ship under his leadership was destroyed, but Quattro cheers him up. Bright refers to Quattro as a captain, but reminds him that he is not that he is only a lieutenant. Also on board Bright's shuttle was Fa. She tells Camille that the Titans came and took her parents because Camille stole the Mark II. She was able to escape thanks to Bright. The man who was piloting the Masala was Paptimus Sirocco. He is known as the man from Jupiter. He is meeting with the captain of the Hario and wants to chase the Argama. Back on board the Ayug ship, Hinken informs Camille and Quattro that Bright Noah will be the new captain of the ship. Hinken is assigned to the new ship the Radish as captain. He sees that Camille has a Haro, but notices that it is the Mark II Haro and probably not Amado Ray's original. Fa tells Camille that Bright's wife and son are still on Earth and might be in danger. On the bridge, Bright tells Quattro that his wife is Mirai Yashima. Mirai was the helmsman on board White Base during the 1-year war. Even though she appeared to have feelings for Slegger, it is undeniable that Mirai and Bright were close. After the death of Slegger at the Battle of Solomon at the end of the war, it appears Mirai and Bright settled down with one another and had 2 children. One of those children is Hathaway Noah. I'm sure he will go on to do great things. I'm sure he will go on to do great things. Sirocco launches in his Masala. The AU prep for their attack on Jaburo. As the team launches, the Masala comes in very fast and instantly destroys the Cecilia, an allied AU ship. Camille is riding on the Wave Rider, which allows the Mark II to attack while being protected from re-entry. The Masala transforms into its mobile suit mode and takes out Emma's right arm. She falls back while Quattro pursues Sirocco. The Titans come in. They are about to enter orbit, but continue to fight. Emma returns to the Argama. Besides Camille, who is on the Wave Rider, all of the AUG mobile suits are equipped with a Balut capsule to help the mobile suits re-enter Earth's atmosphere. A few Titan members don't make it through re-entry. One guy falls off his Balut chute. That sucks. Camille feels bad for picking them off so easily, as the Wave Rider is clearly superior to the Balut chute. Camille experiences Earth's gravity for the first time. Everyone starts descending to Earth. At Jaburo, both Kai Shiden and Rekawa have been captured. They are trying to find a way to escape. They descend onto Jaburo, too. Camille lands on Earth while saying some psycho shit.
You'd still be alive if you hadn't come close to me.
He rides some sweet waves while murdering. Meanwhile, Jared gives his position away by blowing up a monkey. Jared is mad that a space noid is doing so well in Earth atmosphere. Quattro comes to back him up. They start finding a way into Jaburo. Quattro is wondering why the base isn't as heavily defended as he thought it would be. Camille senses Rekawa. The place is more or less empty. Something isn't right. Quattro thinks this may be a trap. They suddenly get attacked. He felt Rekawa again. Jared comes in and attacks. He gets one of his comrades and a Hyzak killed. Elsewhere in Jaburo, one soldier is going mad yelling about a nuclear bomb underneath Jaburo. Appoli finds this guy and is starting to get concerned. He brings in Quattro. Jared and Camille continue their fight. The Mark II falls underground. I mean, all of Jaburo is underground, some more underground. Everyone falls back, but Camille continues looking for Rekawa. Quattro goes in to find Camille and Rekawa. Camille eventually finds her and Kai Shiden. I don't know why, but Jared went out of his mobile suit and now he is trying to find a way off base on foot. He finds the remaining EFF forces savagely fighting to get onto one cargo plane. Jared hops on board with the help of a mysterious woman. Meanwhile, Hyzaks come in to attack Ayug. Luckily, Camille and Quattro escape Jaburo. Camille is able to get Kai and Rekawa on the transport ship, the Garuda. They all have impeccable timing because they get out of there right as the nuclear bomb goes off. As they escape, a Valkyrie comes in. I believe this is a first. The XB-70 Valkyrie actually exists in real life and is the world's fastest nuclear bomber. Go check out some YouTube videos about this piece of mid-century engineering. The Valkyrie is a part of Kuraba, another resistance group separate from the AUG. More on them later, but the pilot of the Valkyrie is Hayato Kobayashi, former gun tank pilot on board the White Base during the One-Year War. Quattro finds it funny that he ran into both Hayato and Kai during this mission. Giamatov Hyman decides to visit Grips after the invasion of Jaburo by the AUG. This man is the creator of the Titans after Operation Stardust destroyed North America. He used this opportunity to create a police state for himself. He clearly wants power and control. We first seen this when Hyman and Admiral Colony ousted Admiral Cohen in UC-0083. Grips is now divided into two colonies and was moved closer to Luna 2. The asteroid base is located at Lagrange Point 3 and was EFF's main space holdout during the One-Year War. On Earth, Amado is flying the Edgeley Optica. The Edgeley EA-7 Optica is a real-life British aircraft designed in 1979, the year OG Gundam was released. The fuselage resembles a helicopter more so than an airplane, and it has a panoramic view as this craft is designed for observation. He lands in his estate in Cheyenne, Wyoming, I assume, and is met with Frau Kobayashi, formerly Frau Bo. Frau is a member of the White Base crew. She definitely at one point had feelings for Amado, but Amado's mind was so wrapped up in war that he ignored Frau Bo. After Hayato Kobayashi was badly injured on White Base, Frau took care of him. They seem to have developed a bond since then and are now married. She is with Kika, Katz, and Letz. If these names sound familiar, it is because they are the three children that were on board White Base during the One-Year War. All their parents died, including Frau Bo's, during the attack on Side 7. So after the war, Frau and Hayato adopted them. Imagine being a 24-year-old father to a 15-year-old kid. That must suck. Frau is also pregnant with another child as well. It seems that Amado is playing it safe and not speaking around his maids, as he thinks they might be spies. Katz thinks Amado is a spoiled child living a rich life now, but Amado tells him that he is actually a prisoner and EFF is keeping an eye on him for being a new type. The Garuda lands safely at Kobayashi Base, that is the old space museum, the Kennedy Space Center. Kai bails without saying anything to Hayato. We also see that Hayato passes by a gun cannon in the museum. This was Hayato's mobile suit of choice during the 1-year war. Kai leaves a letter for Hayato. The letter states that he believes that Quattro is actually Char Aznable and that he finds his false identity despicable and most likely why he never joined Kobayashi and Kuraba. Meanwhile, Quattro is prepping to get back into space as they can't be on Earth for too long before the Titans make their move. They prep an old space shuttle to get the team out into space. Meanwhile, the Titans make their way to Ayug's location. One of the pilots, Buren Blutarch, is in the Ashimar. The NRX-044 Ashimar is developed by the Oakland Research Institute. This is a new type facility that was recently taken over by the Titans. It is the first unit to be able to fly in Earth atmosphere without the help of any flight subsystems or backpacks. It uses thermonuclear engines as it is designed specifically for use in Earth atmosphere. This thing is made by former Xeon engineers as it has its classic mono eye and its design looks not aerodynamic whatsoever. Its mobile armor mode looks like a donut. I have to call it a donut or else others will call it a donut, so I'm calling it a donut first. At Kuraba Base, Hayato just straight up shows the letter to Quattro. He denies that he is Char Aznable and that he isn't that important. Hayato tells Quattro, if you really are Char, then you should be using your talents to lead the world. He still insists that he is not Char, and Camille decides to punch him because he thinks Quattro is lying. While bickering, the alarm goes off. The Titans have made their way to Kuraba. The shuttle preps for launch.
Thank you for flying Opoli Airlines. Fasten your seatbelts and hold on.
The Hyzaks accompanying the Ashimar are riding base jabbers. Like mentioned earlier, the Ashimar can only fly in Earth atmosphere. For the rest, they must use sub-flight systems, like the base jabber. This is similar to the Dodai that we saw earlier in the 1-year war, and we'll see later. Camille in the Mark II goes in to attack the Hyzaks. Quattro in the Hyakushiki fights the Ashimar. The Ashimar is able to get a direct hit on the Rick Diaz, destroying it and killing Roberto. The shuttle takes off, and the Ashimar chases it down. Camille gets on top of the Hyakushiki, and they use each other's thrusters to boost after the Ashimar. He is able to get a shot at the cockpit. The Ashimar retreats for now. Both mobile suits jumped really high, but now they have to come back to Earth. Luckily, Hayato and the Garuda comes in and picks them up before they fall. The Ayug team is successful at getting back into space and the Argama. Meanwhile, in space, Axis Xeon makes some moves that might overstep the Granada Treaty. However, EFF is so up their own ass that they simply ignore them for now. On an EFF base, a pilot named Rosamia Bottom launches in the Gap Plant. The ORX-005 Gap Plant is a prototype transformable mobile armor that was developed by Augusta and Oakland Research Institutes, which is now in the hands of Titan Control. Why make mobile suits when you could just occupy a base that makes them? This is one of the fastest and most agile mobile armors that have been created thus far. Because of this, barely any normal humans are able to pilot this unit and must be used by a cyber new type. More on that later. This thing is also a fuel guzzler and not efficient whatsoever. Its specialty is the movable shield binder, which allows the mobile armor to fire thrust in any direction regardless of which way the nose is facing. Quattro tells Camille to prep the Mark II, but Camille is still shaken up by the death of Roberto. On Earth, Amado is helping Frau and her family escape to Japan. Frau tells Amado that Katz was kind of right and that Amado isn't being the hero that he once was. While laying low, Amado decides to take action. He asks Katz to join him while the rest of the Kobayashis head to Japan. One guy is spying on Amado, so him and Katz pretend to play hanky-panky in the bathroom.
Who needs to visit the bathroom?
I think I need to, old man.
Okay, smart guy.
They break out of the bathroom and onto the runway to steal a freighter. The man spying on Amado realizes that he has been duped. They try to go meet up with the Ayug. Rosamia in the Gap Plant runs into Hayato's Garuda. Quattro heads out to attack EFF, while the rest stay back and protect the Garuda. Quattro shoots one off of its sub-flight system. Yeah, that dude is falling like 10k feet to his death for sure. The Gap Plant is doing damage to the Garuda. Like always, Camille doesn't listen to orders and takes off on the Dodai. He fights Rosamia. Rosamiya is getting the upper hand, but the Hyakushiki comes in and helps. Rosamiya is running out of energy and decides to ignore them and head to her destination. On the Garuda, Hayato wants to hit Camille for not following orders, but he apologizes, which is a first. Quattro and Camille were able to sense something about the pilot, but it isn't the same feeling that one gets from a new type. At Bjorn's ship, Rosamiya and Bjorn meet for the first time. He wonders why Rosamiya doesn't need oxygen at this high of an altitude. She tells him that her lungs have been enhanced. Bjorn wonders if she is a cyber new type. Bjorn launches in the Ashimar and attacks the Garuda. Camille and Quattro start defending the ship. Camille uses what looks like a shrapnel bazooka, but I don't know. I didn't think the Mark II ever used this. Can someone confirm? Katz and Amado comes in to help. Amado tells Katz to eject using the Homo Avis. This is a tiny winged glider with thrusters attached. It's named after a mythical human-bird hybrid. Amado rams the freighter right into the Ashimar.
That freighter's heading straight for us!
The Ashimar retreats, but Amado's freighter is destroyed. He launches his parachute, and Camille grabs him. Both Amado and Camille meet for the first time. Quattro and Amado are able to sense one another. Bjorn is still taken aback by the fact that a random freighter just ran into him during a battle. He returns to find a somewhat manic Rosamiya freaking out about the sky falling. She is, of course, talking about a colony drop. Bjorn lets her join the team, but he is wondering if her behavior is a side effect of being a cyber new type. Camille is left to watch over Katz. He tells Camille that the current day Amado is nothing like he was when he was on White Base. The Kuraba team are trying to figure out where the Titan's new base is. Fortunately, it seems Kai is on the case as he is in communication with the Garuda and keeping everyone up to date on his investigations. Char and Amado talk alone for the first time since Abawaku. Amado wonders why Char is on Earth. Char tells Amado that Lala's spirit is on Earth. He also tells Amado to stop being a little bitch. The next morning, a biplane comes towards the Garuda. Kuraba allows them to land. The pilot is Beltachika Irma. She is a freedom fighter for Kuraba who was orphaned as a young child by the events of the colony drop from Operation British. Amado and Beltachika meet for the first time. Beltachika smells him.
Huh?
Amado calls Quattro a gentle and kind man, and Beltachika yells. The dubs cranks this scene up to 11 and makes this even more bizarre.
What is she afraid of? Deep inside, he's a gentle person.
That's not true.
Meanwhile, Katz steals the Gundam Mark II. Camille will have to pilot the Rick Diaz. Amado wants to pilot, but he is having some PTSD. Beltachika helps out by using the gun turret. Rosamiya in the Gap plant attacks Katz. He is struggling as he is only used to a Zaku simulator. Camille and Quattro come in to help. Camille tries to guide Katz as he has never experienced real combat. Katz shoots and hits the Gap plant. Then Quattro comes in and takes out her unit, but Rosamiya ejects and escapes.
A woman?
Back at the Garuda, Hayato slaps Katz for his disobedience.
I sensed her.
Quiet!
We never see Bright slapping Hayato, but you know that Bright smacked the shit out of him, so it is nice to see that he is passing it down to his son. There is a huge haze in the sky. The cover from the weather is a perfect opportunity to get Camille and Quattro back up into space. Amado is obviously still afraid of space ever since the death of Lala. Beltachika tells him that like the fog, he has been in a haze for the past 6 years and it is time to wake up. She tries to wake him up with a kiss, but then instantly tells him that she likes to move on fast. Amado doesn't seem to mind.
Remember, I might move on pretty easily.
I don't mind.
What the hell is this dialogue? War orphans, man, they got issues. Let me know in the comments. Will you deal specifically with the crazy baggage that would come with dating someone whose parents were killed in a colony drop? I'm curious. Amado and Beltachika are interrupted by Quattro.
I don't like this Quattro guy at all.
Amado wants Quattro to leave one of their mobile suits behind for Kuraba's protection, but he tells Amado that they will need it for battle in space, where most of the conflict is going to happen. Quattro tells Amado to stop being a bitch and to stop being afraid of Lala. He reminds Amado that Force Ghosts exist in this universe as well. Katz and Camille are draining all of the water from the Mark II from when Katz stole the Gundam and fell into the water. Quattro comes over and lets Katz know that Hayato allowed him to join Quattro and Camille up in space. They prepare to get everyone back into space. Meanwhile, Bjorn prepares to attack the Garuda in his Asimar. Kuraba's goals is to land in Hickory, where they will use the spaceport to launch into space. Quattro takes off and lands on the base, but the others haven't made their way. Katz is inside the Rick Diaz with Amado. They try to fend off an attack by the Titans. Amado and Katz needs to hurry or Katz will be left on Earth. Amado gives Katz the gun that he used to shoot Char back in the day. Amado is able to drop off Katz to the ship, but then he immediately holds up Quattro and tells him that he is too important to lose for the AUG. This episode is wild. Camille is the only one that hasn't landed yet. He is distracted by the Asimar. Buron shoots down the Mark II Gundam's subflight system. Amado comes in and helps with the attack. Beltachika returns to the Garuda.
How can he think of women at a time like this?
The Asimar grabs Camille, but Amado comes in and takes out his arm with the beam saber. Camille moves out of the way and Amado stabs the Asimar, destroying it and killing Buron. Their units fall into the ocean as this battle was all done in freefall mainly. The shuttle takes off without Camille. They fish out the Rick Diaz from the ocean. Ben Woodard takes command of Buron Blutarch's ship now that he is dead. He is being resupplied with Hyzax. He wants to avenge Buron's death. Hayato and his crew believes that the Titans may have a base on New Guinea, so they suggest going there, but they instead go to Hong Kong to resupply as their subflight systems and Dodais have been destroyed. Meanwhile, in the hangar, Beltachika is trying to convince Camille to give the Mark II to Amado as he is the superior pilot. Nothing like being gaslit by war orphans after being abandoned on Earth, right? After kissing Amado, it also seems like she is instantly codependent. Back on the ship the Sudori, Ben Woodard is receiving a new shipment from Murasame Labs. The unit is so big that it could barely fit inside the hangar of the ship. Also coming on board the ship is 4 Murasame, one of the lab's test subjects. She instantly tells Woodard that she can't be taking orders from anyone. Woodard laughs and tells her sure. The Gerudo makes it to Hong Kong. Amado and Beltachika make their way towards Luo and Co. to stock up on equipment. Many people are trying to find shuttles off the planet, but it seems that the wait is quite long. In the building, Amado spots a little terrorist and notices that it is Mirai Yashima Noa. They are trying to get up into space via the black market, but have been put on a wait list. When Amado asks for Luo Woman, suddenly a man attacks Amado. Beltachika, Mirai, and her family head out of the building, but they look up to see a giant mobile suit in the sky. It is piloted by 4 Murasame. Camille launches in the Mark II. Miss Namikar, a representative from Murasame New Type Labs, tells Woodard that if 4 is a cyber new type, and that if 4 suffers from a mental breakdown, she might go berserk and attack everyone. The Mark II engages with the new Psycho Gundam. They begin fighting in the city, which is never a good thing. The MRX-009 Psycho Gundam is a transformable mobile armor developed by Murasame New Type Labs and designed to be used specifically with cyber new types. Classified as a large mobile armor, it can transform into a mobile armor mode known as Mobile Fortress mode that is capable of atmospheric flight thanks to the Minovsky Craft system. Plans for a mobile fortress in the base defense role were drafted after the one-year war. This unit is controlled via the Psychomu system. Because of this, we will even see an instance where Cyber New Type can will the Gundam even outside of the suit. For those who don't know, the Psychomu system is short for Psycho Communicator and uses Minovsky particles to allow the user to use psycho waves as a control interface. After the one-year war, EFF took control of the Flanagan Institute. Later, Earth created both the Augusta and Murasame New Type Institutes, which adopted a lot of the research from the Jiang, which Char piloted in the Battle of Abaoku. It isn't outright stated, but I assume the Psychomu is what allows something so massive to be so mobile and agile. It also utilizes the Minovsky Craft system that was mainly used in Pegasus-class ships during the one-year war. This Minovsky dispersal unit allows the Psycho Gundam to hover, but they can also be used to create eye fields. It is equipped with a small mega beam cannon, a diffuse mega particle cannon, and a regular beam cannon, along with a shield. Everyone's new type senses go off. It wakes up Amado, who is being held captive by Luo Woman's daughter, Stephanie Luo. Beltachika and the Noahs make their way back to the Garuda. Hayato has a reunion with his old friend and then takes off from the Hong Kong harbor. Camille yells at 4 for starting a fight in the city. Camille then proceeds to start fighting Psycho Gundam in the city. The Mark II was almost able to get a hit on the Psycho Gundam, but 4 dodges the attack. She starts freaking out once she uses her new type potential and leaves the battlefield. The new type feeling makes her feel sick. Wooder wonders why 4 didn't finish the job. She tells Wooder that her brain hurts and it feels like snakes are in her brain. Back at the Garuda, Amado tells Camille that he has the potential to be the best AUG pilot. He tells Camille to not let his soul get weighed down by gravity like him. 4 runs away from the Sudori. Namikar tries to go and get her back to the ship. Meanwhile, Amado, Mirai, and her children are on a boat having a conversation. The little terrorist throws a glider off the boat. 4 happens to be the one who finds it on the docks. As Amado and Beltachika leave, 4 gives the glider back to Mirai's daughter, Shaman. She overhears them talking about the Garuda, so she finds Camille and asks him for a ride back to town. While spying on 4, the Titans find out that Amado must be visiting the ship for a reason. They investigate and find out that it is because of Mirai and decide to take them as a hostage. Woodard sends a message to the people of Hong Kong and tells them that they will attack the new city of Hong Kong unless the Garuda is handed over to the Titans. They also let people know that they have Mirai hostage and will not hesitate to kill them. Amado takes off to go help. 4 realizes that Camille is a part of the AU and is a mobile suit pilot. 4 decides to get out. They go their separate ways for now. Amado heads out to Wooder's ship. He exchanges himself as a prisoner instead in exchange for Mirai and her children's safety. They take off, but a Isaac hides underwater and captures them. He now has 4 prisoners. Camille gets back to the Garuda and they prep the Mark II. Hayato plans on pretending to surrender the Garuda and then making an attack. Camille dives underwater. He notices that the enemy is also underwater. The Garuda waves the white flag. Camille runs into 3 Isaacs underwater. While above water, the waves rock the boats. It allows Amado to escape, but also Hathaway falls off the boat. Amado goes underwater to save Hathaway. Amado, you could have just let him die and it would have prevented a lot of bad things from happening in the future. Just saying. Amado, unfortunately, saves Hathaway. Meanwhile, 4 is freaking out. Without the assistance of Murasame New Type Labs, she becomes very manic. Meanwhile, Beltachika yells at Mirai and then cries in Amado's arms. Man, war orphans. Meanwhile, the city of Hong Kong has asked the Garuda to leave the city. They prep to leave. Beltachika wants to know what made Amado become so distant. Mirai tells her and Camille that it was a girl named Lala and she was an enemy pilot. Camille wonders if he is feeling the same thing with 4. On the Sudori, Namikar tells Wooder that the Psycho Gundam has been modified to allow normal pilots to use the Gundam and not just cyber new types. Wooder doesn't want to have to rely on them after seeing 4 come and go as she pleases. The soldier, spying on 4, tells her that she needs to go back to the ship now. He also calls her number 4. She says that she promises that she will be back by midnight. Her and Camille go out on the town. 4 tells Camille that she is number 4, meaning that there were 3 failed experiments before her and that she doesn't even know her name. The Sudori starts attacking Hong Kong. It is Wooder in the Psycho Gundam. This causes 4 to panic and run away. Amado launches in the Rick Diaz and meets up with the Psycho Gundam. It seems that Wooder is struggling to control the Psycho Gundam. The mobile suit stops. Wooder finds 4. It seems that she was able to will the Psycho Gundam using the Psychomu system without being in the suit. Camille gets back and launches in the Mark II, but not before getting slapped by Stephanie Liu for leaving. Camille goes in to fight the Psycho Gundam and realizes that 4 is the pilot. She panics and begins to destroy the city. Camille tries to stop her from causing more chaos, but Amado comes in to attack. He tells Amado to stop attacking. He gets out of the Gundam and tries to help 4. She wants her memories back and believes that only the Titans and the Murasame Labs are the only ones who could be able to do so. She pushes Camille away and gets back into the Psycho Gundam. Amado tries to destroy the combat system on the Gundam. He attacks it and she retreats, but some Isaacs come in and distract them. Camille takes them out with ease. They all retreat for now. Back on the Garuda, Mirai and her family leave the ship as she doesn't want to get in Bright's way. The Garuda finally leaves Hong Kong. When Amado tries to have a conversation with Camille, Beltachika tries to start a fight with him. This conversation essentially leads to Amado understanding that, like Camille, Amado might have to return to space. On the Sudori, Ben Wooder blackmails 4 into fighting and destroying the Aldulma, which is Karaba's Garuda-class ship. He says that if the ship isn't destroyed, the Murasame New Type Lab will be closed down, and thus she will never get her memories back. Last episode, we learned that the New Type Lab and the Titans are somewhat holding her hostage by keeping her memories from her. She will do anything to get her memories back, which is why she is piloting the Psycho Gundam for the Titans. They received info from Luo and Co. regarding a new Titans base. They are also trying to rendezvous with the Argama in space, but in order to do that, they must make it to New Guinea in time. Hayato doesn't think this is going to happen. The Sudori crew begin their attack. The Garuda is informed of their presence. Amado instantly launches in the Hyzak. 4 launches in the Psycho Gundam. They head straight for the Garuda-class ship. Hayato starts ascending. 4 starts doing damage. Beltachika gets Camille to launch.
Beltachika!
My apologies, Director.
While Amado fights the Psycho Gundam, Stella starts having a panic attack. 4. She retreats for now. Namikar scolds and slaps 4 for returning. She returns to the battlefield. Woodard decides to make his suicide mission. He tells all personnel to retreat. A few men stay by his side. Before Camille launches, Beltachika gaslights Camille and tells him that he doesn't want Camille to fight alongside Amado because he pushes himself too much. Camille launches. Camille and 4 engage in battle. 4 starts attacking Camille, but he doesn't attack her. While Camille fights the Psycho Gundam, Amado notices that the Sudori is getting close to the Garuda-class ship. Camille gets out of the cockpit and talks to 4 face to face. Camille tells her his life story, and she's like, nah brah, I'm not having that. She points a gun at him, no actually I do mean her, and pushes him out towards his Gundam. She continues attacking. Meanwhile, Amado is not so PC.
Where's that black one going?
The Psycho Gundam crash lands into the side of the Sudori. She gets out and plans to help Camille use the Sudori as a booster to get back into space. However, Woodard comes down to the hangar and shoots 4. As she is shot, both Camille and Amado feel 4 as she tells the 2 to use the Sudori with her psychic new type powers. This is Camille's only way back into space if he wants to rendezvous with the Argama. The Mark II goes in and starts attaching itself to the booster. Woodard goes and mans a turret. He attacks the Mark II, knowing full well it will do damage to the Sudori, but to him, this is a suicide mission. Amado protects Camille as he takes off. The Sudori is destroyed, killing Woodard and 4. He heads into lower Earth atmosphere and runs into the Argama. They spot him and pick him up. Once on board the Argama, Bright tells Camille that Fa, Quattro, and Katz are at Granada currently. Meanwhile, the Titans are planning Operation Apollo, where they plan to take control of Von Braun's city on the near side of the moon. This will give the Titans a strong foothold within the Space Noid territory. Paptimus Sirocco is meeting with Jamatov Hyman. Sirocco personally made a literal blood oath to pledge loyalty to the Titans at the expense of his life. Back on the bridge of the Argama, Camille and Torres get into a fight. Bright shows them what's up. He confines them to their rooms for now. Emma recognizes that Camille fell in love on Earth. Sirocco is planning on meeting up with the Alexandria for Operation Apollo. Out in space, Jared and Moira Farrow are testing out the new GUNPLA. Farrow was the one who helped Jared escape from the Battle of Jaburo.
If you're weak, you won't survive. If you're weak, you won't survive. If you're weak, you won't survive.
The RX-110 GUNPLA is designed specifically by Paptimus Sirocco and is intended for mass production. This is one of the fastest units seen to date. It is a transformable mobile suit which can perform limited melee attacks with its claw arm. It has a mega particle gun, a beam saber, claw arm, and the Fedayeen rifle. The rifle is very powerful with a 6.6 megawatt output. The beam rifle can output a constant beam, which can turn into a beam saber, which is a really cool feature that we will start seeing in mobile suits from this generation of Universal Century. Both are practicing with one another. Sirocco comes in his Masala and tests the 2 pilots. He wants the 2 to be a part of his team, but Jared is very hesitant. Sirocco tells Moir and Jared that Jamatov's true intentions are to create a famine state on Earth. He wants to weed out the population, where Sirocco will come in and be their savior. All Jared wants, however, is to defeat the Mark II. They head out for the Argama. The AUG notices and launches their mobile suits as well. Emma heads out in the Rick Diaz, and Camille heads out in the Mark II. They engage in battle. They notice the strength of its megaparticle cannon. The GUNPLA is outpacing the mobile suits. Jared is able to take out Emma's Rick Diaz, but she is able to launch her escape pod. Camille goes to protect Emma, but Moore comes in and outmatches Camille. He ejects before they attack and destroy the Gundam Mark II. Two fighters come in to assist Camille. It is Appley and Fa. She is in the shuttle and catches Camille's body that was floating out into space. Fa mentions to Camille that they brought back the Zeta Gundam. Appley in the Zeta is able to take out one of Jared's Gab fleas. Both teams retreat for now. Back at the ship, Shin is happy to see Camille is happy to see Fa. On Siroko's ship, Jared is prepared to take responsibility for losing a new mobile suit, but Sirocco tells him that he simply lacks determination. He takes Jared under his wing and gives him his own team to command. Back at the Argama, the crew preps the new Zeta Gundam. Camille talks to Fa. She is going to become a pilot cadet and start piloting mobile suits. Camille is mad that Fa has to fight, but she understands the greater picture of the current landscape. Meanwhile, on the Radish, we meet up with both Rekoa and Hinken. It has been a while since we have seen these two. Hinken was the former captain of the Argama before Bright took command, and Rekoa has been with the Radish since she escaped Jaburo with Kai. Rekoa is heading back to the Argama with the new mobile suit. Hinken gives Rekoa a present to give to Emma. Ooh, he got a crush. On the Argama, Camille and Fa are bickering. It seems that Fa understands that his heart is still back on Earth with 4. In the break room, Bright and Emma have a conversation about how to deal with Camille while Bright does the meme. You know the one, with the burger and everything? Back on Siroko's ship, we meet with Jared's new teammates, Sarah and Sidley. As a lower-ranked member of a fascist organization who just attained a small morsel of power, the first thing he does is act like a fascist asshole to them. Also, let's discuss Siroko's ship, the Dogose GR class. The Dogose GR class is the largest warship thus far by Earth Federation forces. Remember, during our History of Operation Stardust videos, we talked about how slow EFF is when it comes to keeping up with modern technological strategies when it comes to warfare. Even during UC-0083, they created the Birmingham-class ship, which was created after the 1-year war, but still didn't take mobile suits into consideration. Well, the Dogose GR class, I'm still figuring it out, finally changes that for EFF. The warship definitely has mobile suits in mind when it comes to its design. It has a long-range mega-particle gun, a twin mega-particle gun, a secondary mega-particle gun, anti-air gun, and missile launcher. We will also see another version of this ship pop up later in UC-0096. They prepare to rendezvous with the Argama. When they head out, they happen to meet up with Rekoa in her Methus. The MSA-005 Methus is the first true transformable mobile suit under Project Zeta. This Gundam's data will be later used to help create the Zeta Gundam. The primary form of the Methus is the mobile armor mode. It is a capable space fighter with extremely high mobility and excellent defensive capabilities. Because of this transformable frame, it does make it weak towards melee attack. However, its strength in being a dogfighting master makes up for its weakness. It has an arm beam gun, a beam saber, a grenade launcher, a shield, BRM-87 beam rifle, and a beam diffusion missile. Let's talk about the BRM-87 beam rifle for a second, because this is also the same beam rifle used by the Hyakushiki. Its output is about 2.8 megawatts and is powered by a replaceable E-Pack. The Methus is capable to equip 4 of these bad boys on the mobile suit if necessary. The Argama notices the action. They send out Camille and Emma. Camille can sense Rekoa once again. Camille launches in the Zeta Gundam. The MSZ-006 Zeta Gundam is considered the first success at a transformable mobile suit. The Delta Gundam was the first attempt, which they later turned the non-transforming version into the Hyakushiki. Of course, these units were created by Anheim Electronics, who currently is raking in all the money. It can transform into a cruising mode known as Wave Rider mode. In this form, it can enter the atmosphere without the help of any subflight systems. This unit also has generators in the shins inspired by the GP-01FB that we seen during Operation Stardust. Zeta Gundam is equipped with the biosensor, a quasi-psychomu device that assisted with the mobile suit's control using the pilot's brainwaves, improving its responsiveness. It has a 60mm Vulcan gun, a 2-tube grenade launcher, an anchor wire, a beam saber, beam rifle, a shield, and a mega launcher. The AE B-XB G35 DO 105 beam saber is a beam saber that has higher output than your standard beam saber. When attached in Wave Rider mode, the beam saber can also function as a beam gun, but this has a low output and is used mainly as a distraction. Emma launches in the Mark II while Camille takes out the Zeta Gundam. Fa steals a Rick Diaz and launches as well. Jared's team surrounds the Methus, but the Zeta Gundam comes in and helps. Fa is struggling to keep up with the rest. Emma and Rekoa meet up. They try to get the Methus back to the Argama, but Jared comes in with the Gapthly. Jared notices Camille's new mobile suit. They engage and battle. Zeta is able to get behind Sidley in her Marasai and get a direct hit, destroying the mobile suit and killing Sidley. Jared is once again shamed, but Sirocco doesn't chastise him for losing a pilot. Sirocco notes that Sarah retreated before Jared gave her orders. He is very ominous in this moment towards Sarah. Back at the Argama, Emma slaps Fa for taking the Rick Diaz out without orders. She was acting on emotion. Emotion! Emma slap her again. Rekoa gives Emma the present that Hinken gave her. Katz wants to head back to the Argama. Commodore Blex and Wong are having an argument. Wong wants Quattro to be Blex's bodyguard, but Quattro wants to sortie at the moon because they know of the Titans' plan to attack soon. Emma and Camille talk about death on the battlefield, while Fa spies on them. Meanwhile, the Titans plan Operation Apollo. They plan on taking over the moon, and much, much more. But for now, they are focusing their attention on Von Braun City. Jamaicon intends to use Sirocco's Dagoze Gyar-class ship as a shield, but Sirocco will use this as an opportunity to take all the credit. On the Argama, Camille reflects on the fact that many of the people on the battlefield are women, and that times are changing. This is an interesting moment that they let breathe in the Japanese version. But if you watch the English dub, then you get silly 80s cartoon moments where Camille goes, "It's a goyle." Sirocco's Dagoze-class ship fires warning shots at the lunar city. The Argama prepares for launch. Fa steals the Methus while Camille launches in the Zeta Gundam. Kotz also wants to go out. This place is a madhouse. I get why Bright resorts to slapping. I really do. Quattro also heads out to protect the AU ships. Fa is slipping, but she gets a hold of herself. Camille's new type senses go off, and he goes to save Fa. She is starting to grasp the full extent of war. Quattro saves Apolly. Sirocco starts to make his move towards the city. This will leave the Titans to deal with the AUG on their own. Jared notices this. He and Moore launch. Jared is piloting the Gapthly. Moore realizes that Sirocco is using Jared as a decoy and heads out to protect him. Sirocco's ship descends. All the new types are able to sense him. They get a nauseous feeling. Moore tells Jared that he's being used, but Jared understands that this is a part of war. The Dagoze Gyar ship was able to make it into Von Braun City. They make an ultimatum to surrender the lunar base or it will be shot down. The Argama can't hit the Dagoze Gyar because it will destroy the city in the process. Bright tells everyone to return to the ship for now. On Sirocco's ship, Jamaicon slaps Sirocco for being reckless. He tells Jamaicon that he should be the commander of the newly occupied city. It seems Sirocco is simply putting on an act right now. Quattro and Blex head towards Earth. On Earth, EFF figureheads are meeting in Dakar, Africa. Jamatov Hyman will be making his appearance at this meeting as well. Camille is going incognito to Von Braun City to do a little scouting on the enemy mobile suits. Katz is mad that he can't go as well, so he naturally sneaks on board. During an intermission, both Blex and Quattro are mad. They are currently voting to give Jamatov Hyman and the Titans more control over EFF forces. They are here to try to prevent that. Sirocco just bails and leaves Jared and Moar behind while they were in the med bay. They want to rejoin Jamaicon's team, but he suggests that they simply use this as an opportunity to take time off. As they leave, Jared notices Camille sneaking around the city. He chases and pulls a gun on him. They smack Camille around. Suddenly, Katz comes out of nowhere and pulls a gun on Jared. They drop their guns, but Jared does a roundhouse to Katz's gun. Katz and Camille run away. Jared doesn't want to shoot because he doesn't want to hit civilians. Back on Earth, Quattro gets a ride from a Japanese racist stereotype. He gets back to his hotel to hear gunshots. He runs to Blex's room and finds that he has been assassinated. In his final words, he calls him Char Aznable and tells him to become the leader of the AUG. Meanwhile, a group of Titans members led by Yazan Gable spot the Argama and decide to attack without consulting Jamaicon and the Alexandria. However, Jamaicon does find out quickly and sends out assistance. He also says fuck it and fires the air raid siren to get Jared's attention within the lunar base. Fa launches in the Mythos and struggles once again to fight the enemy. Rekoa launches in the Zeta Gundam and Camille is able to sense it. A Hyzak is taken out and crashes right into the lunar city. Katz grabs some masks and heads to the escape route where they find Jared. Both pull guns on each other and a bunch of citizens start freaking out around them. Appley comes in to save Fa. In the escape bunker, the citizens start to turn on the two Titans members. Katz gets Jared's gun and they both escape the bunker. Jared decides to head back to the base, but the citizens won't allow them to leave. So of course Jared punches a kid. He is able to escape. I mean, it was just a kid. Camille runs out to find Rekoa in the Zeta Gundam. She lands and lets him take the reins. This is one of my favorite moments in Zeta. Rekoa asks Camille if Katz is fine. Camille says, yeah, he's fine, he's right over there. Immediately followed by an explosion of Katz flying off screen. It then just cuts to Camille leaving in the Zeta Gundam. Camille goes out and does some damage. Fa is being chased by Yuzan Gapli when Zeta comes in to rescue her. Jamaicon decides that it is time to retreat. Jared finally comes in and asks Jamaicon to sortie, but he says he is too late. He allows Jared to stay on board the ship as they retreat, however. Back on Earth, the vote is in. EFF is now, for the most part, completely in the hands of the Titans. Absolute power, bitches! We reached it. A Hyzak comes towards the Argama wielding a white flag. It is Sarah Zabaroff, the pink-haired Titans pilot that Jared constantly yells at. She tells the Argama crew that the Titans plan another colony drop. They believe her, but like Emma, they treat her like an enemy until they are certain that someone could be trusted. But even so, something is a little off with her. Wong wants the Radish and the Argama to work together. They start to see a colony from Side 4 make its move and confirms that Sarah wasn't lying about the colony drop. Meanwhile, Beckner is concerned about Emma's lady parts.
But if for some reason you couldn't bear children someday...
She reassures him that she doesn't plan on getting married. She then gets an omikuji which tells her that she will be married soon. Irony. An omikuji can be found at Shinto temples in Japan that contains a fortune for around a 10 yen donation. Meanwhile, Katz starts becoming a bitchy character while Camille starts playing it cool. The AUG aren't sure if they plan on attacking Von Braun City or Granada. They prep for battle and their potential death if all things go wrong. Jamaicon argues with Yazan. He is growing impatient about not being out on the first wave. On the Argama, Katz lets his boner make decisions for him and he allows Sarah to leave her quarters. Camille launches in Zeta and Emma launches in the Mark II. On the moon, Wong is talking with the mayor of Granada. He demands to know why they aren't evacuating the city. Wong tells him to have faith and more or less say if they lose the moon, they are dead anyways. I'm not so sure the citizens feel the same way, but sure, okay. The Argama goes in and starts using its main cannon on the colony. Yazan and his team go in to stop the ship, but the Argama team tries to stop them. Emma rips off a Hyzak's head. Meanwhile, Katz's boner gets the best of him. Sarah thanks Katz and lets him know of the Gaplant's weak points, but then pushes him and she escapes with her Hyzak. Never make decisions with your boner, folks. Emma is trying to activate the nuclear pulse thrusters attached to the colony to get it to change course. Katz passes on the weak point info to Camille and he uses it to get Yazan to retreat. Emma is able to blow up the pulse thrusters, causing the colony to change its course. It lands in the middle of nowhere on the moon. Jamaicon has failed once again. On the Argama, Katz is put in the brig for letting the enemy escape, but Camille thanks him for essentially saving them with the weak point info. Katz now probably has trust issues. On the Alexandria, Yazan and Jamaicon are fighting once again. Yazan is planning an attack on the Argama, but Jamaicon is heading back to Grips and won't be turning around for him. He plans on succeeding where Jamaicon failed. On the Radish, Hinken fails at trying to ask out Emma again. Step up your game, dude, you're a captain. On the Argama, Bright notes that Camille has definitely grown since he came back from Earth. Katz is tired of being on the Radish as he isn't allowed to sortie. Emma launches in the Mark II to take care of Yazan's crew, who is heading in their direction. Katz takes out the G-Defensor. Henkin allows COTS to go out as a test. The FXA-05D G Defensor is a support unit for the Mark II. It is based off of the G Fighter and Core Fighter from the 1 Year War and can either be used independently or it can be attached to the Mark II to create the Super Gundam. More on that later. It is armed with missiles, Vulcan guns, mini laser guns, and a long-range rifle. In the future, we will see that the GM3 is able to connect to this unit. Emma and Yazan engage in battle. While fighting, they run into an old Guazine-class ship from the old Principality of Zeon. COTS makes his way to the battlefield. Camille wakes up from a nightmare, but realizes that it actually isn't a nightmare and that it is the Radish under attack. Bright allows him to sortie in the Zeta Gundam. He recognizes a lot of Amado, Ray, and Camille. Emma and COTS try to dock with one another, but they keep getting attacked. Suddenly, Camille comes in to save them. Camille gives them enough time to attach and create the Super Gundam. When the G Defensor and the Mark II combine, it gives the Gundam a 20% increase in mobility and can use the G Defensor long-range rifle. The mobile unit also has more shields. When it attaches to the Mark II, COTS detaches using the Core Fighter. A Hyzak chases him into an abandoned Guazine-class ship. He takes out the Hyzak's head. Both the Hyzak pilot and COTS abandon their ships in the Guazine. The Alexandria begins firing on the Guazine. Emma finds COTS, but the Hyzak pilot begins shooting at the two. Meanwhile, Camille and Yazan engage in battle. On the abandoned ship, the Hyzak pilot gets the upper hand over COTS and Emma, but a blast hits the ship, killing the Hyzak pilot. Talk about luck. They escape towards the ship to find Zeta Gundam fighting. COTS finds an old Gelgoog. He wires it and gets one shot off, helping Camille. Yazan retreats. The Mark II and Zeta chases Yazan back to the Alexandria. Emma fires towards Yazan and misses him, but accidentally shoots the Alexandria's bridge behind him, killing Jamaicon in the process. On the Argama, Bright gets some data that makes him believe that the former members of the Principality of Zeon are working with the Titans to create a new fortress. On the Radish, Captain Henkin thanks Camille for helping them out. As they are talking on the bridge, the abandoned Guazine-class ship finally blows up. Camille and Fa are bickering once again. Apolly tries to get Camille to open up and says that it seems to be young love, but then Apolly simply teases him and takes off, leaving the Autistic alone with his emotions. Quattro is on his way back to the Argama. Meanwhile, the crew suggests to Bright that Fa and Camille no longer sortie due to their obvious feelings towards one another. Bright doesn't want to be a father to Camille, but he might have to show Camille the backside of his hand. The Alexandria ship is still functional. It was just the bridge that was destroyed. Last episode, Jamaicon and the bridge crew were killed when Yazan tricked the Ayug into shooting the ship. They are currently getting fixed up at Abaoku. After the 1 Year War, EFF took control of the fortress, and it will soon be another Titan's base, known as the Gate of Zidane. The new captain of the ship is Gadi Kinsey, who apparently gave Jamaicon the Alexandria to use temporarily. Moore and Jared are on board the ship. They are both concerned about Yazan being on board as well. In the hangar, Yazan is going mad and throwing out all the Hyzaks, calling them a piece of junk. Jared tells him to defeat the Zeta Gundam if he is going to talk so big, and Yazan accepts his offer. He also takes off his glove and slaps Jared like he is agreeing to a duel. But there is no duel. Very disappointing. Morad tells Jared that she was offered a position on Siroko's Jupitris, but she chose to stay on the Alexandria to be closer to Jared. The two, Kisu, back on the Argama. Bright is eating a burger while they convene with the Radish.
Don't talk with your mouth full of food.
On the Radish, COTS preps for launch in the Defensor and awaits further orders. The Alexandria spots both the Argama and the Radish. Suddenly, Yazan and his team launch without Captain Gadi's permission. Back on Earth, Quattro is with Hayato and he's making his way back to space once again. Last episode, someone mysteriously assassinated Commodore Blex. Hayato is concerned about the state of the Titans. Quattro doesn't really have a straight answer for him. He tells Quattro that now, more than ever, the Ayug needs a leader, and that leader should be him. The Argama awaits for Quattro's shuttle. They aren't launching their mobile suits. The Radish, however, takes on Yazan's team. Emma launches and distracts Yazan. The shuttle is getting impatient, waiting in orbit for the Argama. Quattro decides to use the shuttle's life pod to go meet up with the ship. Bright can't wait much longer. The Argama makes its move, and Camille, Fa, and Apolly launch. Jared's team launches with the Mega Launcher. This is different from the Mega Bazooka launcher that we saw the Hyakushiki use in earlier episodes, but they more or less serve the same role. It's a giant battleship-sized Mega Particle Cannon and a giant gun, too big for even the average Gundam. Sarah plans on firing the weapon as she is more comfortable in the Hyzak that Yazan wanted to throw out. Yazan is about to destroy Emma in the Mark II when he realizes that Jared is fighting Zeta. He leaves Emma to go chase Camille. COTS launches in the Defensor and he docks with the Mark II. Bright spots the life shuttle and they go and retrieve it. Jared is trying to keep Camille in one place so Sarah could shoot Zeta. Yazan suddenly comes in and interrupts. Camille is able to sense Sarah in the distance. Sarah senses Camille. Right as she fires, Kotz tries to communicate with her. It distracts her, causing her to miss Zeta and hit the shuttle that brought Quattro in. Luckily, Quattro's life pod made it onto the Argama. Sucks to be that shuttle crew, at least they serve their one purpose. Both Mora and Jared sense something is wrong with Sarah. Does she have a boner for cats as well? Back on the Argama, Quattro gives Bright a letter from his family. While watching the letter, he begins to cry. Quattro informs Captain Bright and Captain Hankin that Commodore Blex was assassinated while they were on Earth. In the hangar, Camille is wondering what an old Gelgoog is doing on board the ship. They plan on retrofitting it with the Nemo parts to make it look functional on the outside, but it will be useless in battle. It seems that Rekoa is going to use it to infiltrate the Jupitrus, pretending to be a part of Axis Xeon. Camille is concerned. Last time she went on a spy mission, she had to be saved by Camille. Rekoa is taking care of the 2 war orphans, Shinta and Kum. Oh yeah, Quattro brought back 2 war orphan children who will play the same role as Kotz, Kika, and Let's did on White Base during the 1-year war. This had to be some production note. Someone behind the scenes went, hey, you know what's missing from this? War orphans. Yes, that's what made OG Gundam great. Comic relief from war orphans. Rekoa tells Camille to worry about his own duties instead of hers. Fa and Rekoa have a chat. She wants to know what happened on Jaburo. Rekoa says that she enjoys these spy missions more, so she gives Fa the Mythos to use permanently. Rekoa prepares the Gelgoog for the mission. Camille is going to back her up from afar. Fa complains about sending Camille out with Rekoa.
Gender is irrelevant.
Bright sends Fa to assist the 2 to teach her a lesson. The Jupitrix is leading the pack while the Dagoza Gyar notices Rekoa's Gelgoog. Sarah decides to launch to intercept. However, she makes it to the Jupitrix and is able to get on board. I suppose this would be a good time to talk about the Jupitrix. The Jupitrix class ship is a large tanker ship. Helium from Jupiter is used to fuel most Minovsky fusion reactors and is needed in huge amounts. The Jupitrix class ship is designed to bring large tanks of fuel across the solar system. Because of this, these ships are not armed whatsoever, which is why the Dagoza Gyar follows behind. However, the ship has no problem housing mobile suits. If this was on a freeway, it would have those wide load signs. You know what I'm saying? While waiting from afar, Camille is suddenly attacked by Sarah piloting Siroko's Masala. Camille is able to sense that this is a different pilot. He recognizes that it is Sarah. On board the Jupitrus, Sirocco touches Rekoa's face and then smacks it. He demands to know who she really is. She gives him her real name. What is happening? It seems that Sirocco is seeing right through her lies, but he likes touching that face. Weird. Suddenly, the Jupitrus recognizes that Camille and Sarah are fighting. They wish Rekoa luck and leave her. While fighting, Fa comes in and backs up Camille. Sirocco wants to assist Sarah, but Sarah communicates with Sirocco with her cyber-nuke-type powers, and it seems she wants to handle it alone. Rekoa takes out a soldier and tries to launch her ship. Sirocco knows that this is most likely Rekoa and lets her go. He seems to really be into Rekoa. Rekoa in the Gelgoog joins the fight. The Masala is outnumbered and takes off. Camille notes that her reflexes are insanely good. Back on board the Jupitrus, Sirocco touches Sarah's face. Red flags everywhere. On the Argama, Rekoa tells Bright everything she remembers from the ship. Everything except for telling him about Sirocco. Is she actually into it? Gross. Kotz is helping feed the crew as they are short-handed. Emma suggests he talks to Quattro before he heads out to Von Braun, as you never know when you get the chance to see someone again. But Kotz is being very stoic about this situation. Or is the plot trying to tell me something? Bright is informed of information regarding the Alexandria heading towards Side 2 and carrying chemical weapons. They are concerned that the Titans will resort to using G3.
Not G3.
Oh yes, this is a gas used by the Titans previously that is stronger than a VX nerve agent and kills people instantly. One of the war orphans throws a paper plane on the ship. It reminds Camille of 4. Camille gets to look at Fa's titties.
Watch the eyes, mister.
Fa taking care of the kids is turning on Camille. What is this episode? On the Alexandria, Jared is leading the mission to gas the colonies. Moir tells him it goes against the treaty, but he reminds her and us, the audience, that it doesn't matter anymore. Why doesn't it matter? So the treaty was against EFF forces, but in UC-0083, the Titans were formed, giving them absolute power, which extends beyond the rules of the treaty. But now that the Titans have full control over EFF forces, it kinda makes all that void, because the Titans will do what they want. While all this is happening at Side 2, Grips begins to make make its move on Granada. Inside of Side 2, the mayor of the colony is concerned that the AU can't stand up to the Titans and considers siding with them instead. A rock approaches Colony 25 of Side 2. Suddenly, the rock breaks apart to reveal that it is the Alexandria ship. They begin attacking the AU cruiser. The Alexandria launches Jared's chemical weapons team. The mayor tries to negotiate with the Titans, but that isn't how they operate. Captain Gaddy goes, "Whoops, I can't hear you. Minovsky particle density is too high and you're breaking up." The Argama makes their way towards Side 2. Bright recognizes that the colony tried to make contact with the Titans and wonders if they tried to surrender. Bright sends out Zeta Gundam and Methus. Jared's team attaches the gas cylinder to the colony. Camille sees the Alexandria and starts shooting at long distance and gets no hits in. On the Radish, Emma launches in the Mark II and Kotz launches in the Nemo. Jared goes to take on the Zeta Gundam, while Moore stays back and finishes gassing billions of people. You know, when you say it out loud, you think you would stop, but nope. Jared blames Camille for him now being a fascist. That is some new type of levels of projection right there. They engage in battle. Here we see a modern-day beam rifle being used as a beam saber. This completely takes Jared off guard. Katz comes in to support Camille, and Moore comes in to support Jared. The Titans decide to retreat for now. Back at the colony, the mayor tries to cover up his cowardice. Bright comes to Side 2 and wonders what that communication really was about. Of course, the mayor covers it up. Bright is very concerned and gives the mayor a clear warning about aligning themselves with the Titans. Mr. Wong, Quattro, and Melanie Hugh Carbine have a meeting in Von Braun City. They are concerned about the state of Axis Xeon. Quattro doesn't know what to think of their figurehead, Mina Vazabi, currently, and doesn't know how to approach the situation. All of you people out there who have been asking about Mina Vazabi, it's coming. Meanwhile, Yazan's team goes to take out the Argama, which Mar and Jared are not a part of. They are going to head out to an abandoned colony instead. Yazan's team will be pushing the Argama towards Jared's location, where they will eventually make their move. 20 mobile suits start approaching the Radish and the Argama. All pilots launch. Fa is piloting the Nemo in this battle. They are wondering why the mobile suits aren't attacking. Suddenly, they notice the Titan's fleet from below. The Argama escapes near death. Camille heads back towards the Argama to back them up. Bright is being pushed into a corner. Of course, they start making their way towards the abandoned colony that Jared and Moore are hiding in. The two make their appearance on the battlefield and attack the Argama. The ship takes a direct hit. He calls back the mobile suits to help protect the Argama's front. Jared and Camille battle one another. Fa uses the Nemo to put out fires on the Argama. There is a giant hole on the port side and Haro comes flying out. Fa goes to save the dumb ball and to find the kids. As Zeta makes its way back to the Argama, Jared goes in and attacks once again, but he is reckless. Camille gets a direct shot, but Moore comes in and protects Jared, killing herself in the process. Jared angrily attacks Camille, but he destroys his Galbadi's legs. He sees a vision of Moore and realizes that he doesn't need legs, he's in space. Jared goes berserk and heads directly towards the Argama. Camille and Emma are able to fend him off before Jared makes his retreat. On the Argama, a hatch hits Fa in the face, but Medstaff goes to help her. Jared goes to the remains of Moire's Golbadi and cries. Even though Fa disobeyed orders, Bright thanks her for saving the children and the ship. The Argama has finally made it to Von Braun City after their run-in with Jared and the now-dead Moir. The two war orphans, Shinta and Kum, want to explore the lunar city, but Fa is too busy preparing for the next mission. The kids take off without her. Outside of the city, there are 3 mobile suits. Sarah is piloting the new Hambrabi. The RX-139 Hambrabi is a transformable mobile suit that was designed by the Gates of Zidane, aka former Abawaku. Sirocco also assisted in the design of the mobile suit. It was designed to have a simplified transformation system that would be easier to mass produce. It has 5 mono-eye sensors. That's too many eyes, man. I know they are sensors and we as the audience anthropomorphize it as eyes, but it looks like eyes and it's silly. Besides the forearm mounted claws, the Hambrabi was also armed with a pair of beam rifles, a pair of beam sabers, a tail lance, and can use the Gaptle's rifle, as well as the Sea Serpent, a wired grappling weapon used to deliver electrical shocks to the enemy mobile suits. She gets out of the mobile suit and heads to the city on foot. She plans on infiltrating the Argama from within. Meanwhile, Fa and Camille go out to Armstrong Park to find the kids. While out, Camille happens to run into Sarah. Camille's new type senses go off and he wonders what it could be. Fa and Camille split up to look for the children. His new type senses go off again and wonders if it is 4, but he runs into Sarah. He chases and catches her. She tries to emotionally manipulate Camille. He thinks that ice cream will solve the problem. Fa comes and sees Camille with Sarah. He tells Fa to go back to the ship and let Bright know of the situation. At first it seems Camille is falling for her, but then he tells her that she knows she emotionally manipulated Kat to let her free earlier. He says goodbye and tells her that he never wants to see her again. But it seems that she has some sort of feelings for Camille, so she lets him know that she planted bombs. Camille tells Fa to inform Bright that there is a bomb planted in the city. He goes to look for the bomb. Fa informs Bright they unfortunately will have to evacuate the entire city. Camille and Sarah find the bomb in the air duct, but he accidentally makes it worse. I think we've all been in a similar situation. Sarah tries to escape, but Camille says no and punches her in the uterus. She passes out. He carries Sarah outside of the building, where Appley and his Rick Diaz comes in and picks up Camille. The Argama leaves the city, and the explosion goes off. It was a kind of weak explosion, not gonna lie. Fa is worried that the children may have been caught in the explosion. Appley and Fa launch in their mobile suits. Camille launches as well after getting on board the Argama. Fa notices the new mobile suits. While the battle wages on, Sarah once again tries to escape the Argama. Every time Zeta Gundam gets close to the Hammurabi, it transforms into mobile armor mode and takes off. Appley and Camille try to cut off the Hammurabi. Fa notices that Sarah escaped in a jetpack, but she must focus on the battle ahead of her. Sarah is able to get into her Hammurabi and take off. Camille is sad that she fights for the Titans. He is a little dramatic about it. Back on board the Argama, Fa finds the kids in the shower. It seems they never left the ship at all. The Argama had to leave the moon without receiving any repairs to its ship. As the Argama heads out, several Nemos are on the outside repairing as much damage as possible. Char is concerned, but Wong is adamant about heading towards Axis Xeon. Wong is acting like a spoiled child, but he is correct. If they decide to turn back and get repairs on the moon, then the Titans will make contact with Axis first. Neither the Titans nor the AUG truly know where Axis currently stands, as they haven't been in Earth's sphere for some time. In the mess hall, Rekua and Quattro's hands touch. Oh. Back at the Dogo Skiar, Sarah briefs Sirocco on the type of man that Yazan is. It seems that he and his team will be joining Sirocco's fleet. The AU crew notices that their Titans are close behind them. It seems they plan on trying to intercept Axis as well. The crew plans for an attack. Quattro heads to Rekua's quarters and gives her a kiss. Camille does a little bit of peeping. Rekua, Quattro, and Camille launch along with the Mega Bazooka launcher. Rekua and Quattro will man the bazooka. On the Dogo Skiar, Yazan and Sirocco give each other masculine stares. They send out a wave of Hyzax to attack the AUG team. Camille is able to take them out quite easy. Quattro is aiming the bazooka, but he senses Patimus Sirocco and it causes him to miss. They have to wait for a reload. They only have 3 shots. They fire on the ship once again and get a direct hit on the Dogo Skiar. Sirocco decides to send out Yazan's team. Quattro sends Rekua back to the ship, but Sirocco seems to be calling to her and she decides to head straight into battle. Camille is helping out a Nemo when suddenly it is destroyed. Oh no, that guy! It was Yazan. Camille and Yazan engage in battle. Zeta Gundam is getting badly injured, but Rekua comes in and protects Camille. Yazan attacks both of them. Suddenly, a mysterious fleet comes in attacking the Titans. Sirocco notes that they have bad timing and decides to retreat. This mysterious fleet is Axis Xeon, and these mobile suits are the Gaza C. The MX-003 MMT-1 Gaza C is Axis Xeon's mass-produced mobile suit. Like the Titans in the AUG, they too also invested in transformable frames. This suit is riddled with manufacturing flaws. We will soon learn that Axis Xeon's resources are limited, so they had to create this using recycled Gaza A's and recycled Gaza B's. This unit was very flimsy, and thus could only transform a few times before falling apart. It has a lifespan of about 3 missions. It is equipped with the Knuckle Buster, a Leg Claw, a Beam Saber, and a Beam Gun. This unit will also be developed into the Gaza D, the Gaza E, the Gaza F, the Gaza Strip, and the Gaza G. Camille, Quattro, Rekua, Bright, and Wong all head towards the Guadon. The Guadon class ship is the successor to the Guazine class ship. Like the Guazine, this ship is also crimson red. The biggest improvement to this ship is its 2 catapult launchers and its ability to hold around 100 Gaza Cs. This Guadon will act as the flagship for Axis Xeon. It is equipped with a bunch of mega particle guns and anti-air machine guns. This will be one of the biggest ships seen in Universal Century. While traveling to the ship, Quattro notices a pink Gaza C and wonders if it is her. The AUG team are invited to the throne room. Oh yeah, the ship has a throne room too. Gaudy as
Help!
luck. They're finally introduced to Mina Wasabi and Haman Khan. Haman tells Quattro to step forward. He takes off his glasses, and Mina Wasabi instantly remembers him. She calls him Shar Aznable and remembers playing with him as a child. Quite a cute moment, but then she begins spouting the fascist nonsense that the rest of her family used to spout. This really upsets Quattro. He yells at Haman for raising Minerva with the same old Zabi beliefs. He is too aggro, so Haman throws the AU crew into the brig. While arrested, Camille and Quattro pretend to get into a fight and get the guard to open the sail. They are able to get out. Classic get out of jail free cliche. Quattro heads directly to Kaman and tries to take her life. Quattro says the funniest thing in all of Universal Century history.
I've never betrayed anyone in my entire life. Ever. Ever. Ever.
Camille and Rekkawa come in to help. Haman shoots Rekkawa in the arm, and they take off. They head to the hangar and find some Xeon spacesuits. They meet up with Bright and Appley. Oh yeah, Appley is here.
Hey, it's a kid.
They are all clear. They head towards the shuttle, while Camille releases the airlock. On the Argama, the crew shoots dummy balloons. These block enemy ships from getting a good line of sight. As they escape, Yazan and his crew head towards the Argama. The Argama is sandwiched between two enemy forces, and Sirocco knows this. Once on the ship, everyone gets in their mobile suits. Rekkawa is in serious injury, but she sorties as well. They get into a tight formation and Camille is confused. Once he realizes what is going on, a bunch of Hambrabis come in with a net. Yazan has two new teammates joining him, Dunkel Cooper and Ramses Hassa. The two capture Zeta in the net and electrocute it. Camille is able to break through the net right as Quattro and the Hyakushiki come in and helps him. Yazan goes in and takes out the arm of the Mythos. It is badly damaged. Yazan sees Emma, Katz, and the Radish crew come in to help right in the nick of time. Yazan and his team retreat. Everyone is lucky to still be alive after that encounter. Back on the Guadon, Sirocco is meeting with Minerva and proposing a treaty amongst the two. Everyone's mobile suits are starting to wear for the worse. They need to get everything up and running again. Camille talks to Ashtenage. It seems that Camille has this weird codependency going on between Rekkawa and Quattro. Ashtenage laughs at him and says he really did fall in love on Earth. Don't laugh this off, Ashtenage. This guy needs a psychiatrist. Camille asks Fa if she could go and visit Rekkawa for him. She goes to visit. Her arm is still injured, but she preps for another mission. Rekkawa proceeds to tell her entire story about living on the moon and fighting as a gorilla before joining the AUG. She then proceeds to piss off the trans community.
From the beginning, there's only been two sexes, men and women.
Back on the bridge, Wong, Quattro, and Bright are getting into an argument about battle strategies. Bright sends out the mobile suits. Rekkawa launches in the Mythos. She keeps sensing something or someone. Quattro tells her not to launch due to her injury, but she doesn't listen. They take on Yazan's team. Camille is able to take out one of his men. They temporarily pull back. Bright tells them to check the rear, but Rekkawa keeps pushing out too far. Something keeps calling for her. They run into a fleet of Marasais. The Argama contacts the Radish to back them up. Earlier, Yazan's team launches balloon dummies. Hey, just like Bernie. The Radish goes to protect the Argama and fires on the Marasais. They instantly realize that they're dummies. Rekkawa and Yazan engage in battle. She is catatonic and she keeps on hearing someone call for her. Yazan tears through her Mythos. She gets out of her mobile suit. Before her unit explodes, Yazan grabs Rekkawa and retreats. Back on the Argama, Camille is informed that Rekkawa has been killed in action. The entire crew thinks that she is dead. Camille takes his anger out on Quattro, while Quattro stares at a cactus. As the Argama crew's morale is low, they finally make their way to Levian Rose. Last time we saw the Levian Rose was UC-0083, where Ko was given the GPO-3 Gundam. Also, this happened. What awaits the Argama at the Levian Rose? The Radish leaves Levian Rose while the Argama remains to continue their repairs. The kids are playing with Haro when suddenly Haro stops working. They go to ask Camille about fixing it. He is very aggravated. Everyone is since the death of Rekkawa. Of course, we know that she isn't dead, but merely captured by the Titans. They're planning on a mission. Camille is not really listening to the briefing, and he wants the AUG to help Kuraba in the mission. But their plan is to stay in space, letting Kuraba handle everything. He just wants to go back down to Earth to be with 4. Camille fixes Haro and he decides to give it to the kids. Meanwhile, the Titans have received a new mobile suit called the Barzam. The RMS-154 Barzam is designed to replace the outdated Gem 2, and it still uses the GM parts to make the transition cheap and efficient. This is a departure from the EFF design, and this unit uses the typical Zionic mono-eye sensor instead. Its handheld weapons are also shared with the Hyzak, again to keep costs down. It is equipped with a beam rifle, a beam saber, the BR-87A beam rifle, which is used by the Marasai and the Hyzak, and a shield. Yazan was given these new mobile suits by order of Sirocco. His team heads out in the Barzams and Hambrabi. On the Argama, all mobile suits are prepping for launch when missiles comes towards the ship. They launch ballistic missiles and fire megaparticle cannons towards Kilimanjaro. There is something about Kilimanjaro where there isn't really any visibility, so they're going in blind. They're kind of vague about it. Yazan's team comes in to intercept the Argama. Camille and Quattro launch. One Hambrabi uses the Sea Serpent grappling weapon against Camille. It catches him off guard. One of the Sea Serpents hits the Hyakushiki. He begins to head into freefall towards Earth atmosphere. Zeta Gundam goes and picks Quattro up and protects him from re-entry. The two head towards Kuraba's location. To avoid getting hit by friendly fire, they head towards the base of the mountain instead of the summit. Jamatov Hyman is watching the battle play out. He grows impatient and wants to see the new weapon in action. Camille notices the Psycho Gundam has launched from Kilimanjaro. He wonders if 4 could be alive. His new type senses notices that it feels like someone completely different operating it. They get out of their mobile suit and find an entrance underground through the water. Camille follows even though Quattro told him to stay behind. Camille senses something that Quattro can't feel. It feels like someone is screaming. Suddenly, an insane rush comes through Camille. They move forward. Camille feels it again. Quattro thinks they shouldn't go on, but of course Camille goes on without him. Jamatov is monitoring for Murasame, who is controlling the Psycho Gundam remotely. Once she stops piloting, Camille stops sensing her. Jamatov runs into Camille and Quattro. Quattro doesn't hesitate and shoots at Jamatov. He dodges the attack, but he hits his assistant, who was right behind him. He runs off and locks the door. Jamatov locks them in a room with 4. Camille is surprised to see her. She runs off and Camille chases her. Quattro tries to shoot her, but Camille prevents him. She gets into the Psycho Gundam. The two return to their Gundams and meet up with Amado on the battlefield. Amado is piloting the DJ. The MSK-008 DJ is Kuraba's prototype mobile suit. It is built by former Zeonic engineers, hence the mono eye. The Rick Diaz was not built by Zeonic engineers, and it shows in comparison to the DJ. It also has advanced communication systems due to the blade antennas on top of its fins. Amado came in during the final development phase to give advice on the mobile suit. It uses the beam Naginata like the Gelgoog. This is the Darth Maul lightsaber weapon. Wait, do you think George Lucas was a huge Gelgoog fan? I think he was. It also has a rounded shield similar to the Gelgoog. Other weapons include Vulcans, a beam rifle, clay bazooka, and a long-range beam rifle. 4 goes psycho in the Psycho Gundam. Amado and Quattro try to get Camille to fall back, but he keeps chasing the Psycho Gundam. Amado is mad at Quattro. He is essentially mad that what happened between him, Char, and Lala are currently happening with Camille and 4. Generational pain, when will it stop? Before moving on, I just want to say that this next episode is called Forever 4, and they really lost an opportunity to call it Forever. Alright, moving on. Ayug and Kuraba are waiting for the Aldumla, Hayato's Garuda-class ship, to return. Quattro wants the team to be patient and wait it out. He tries to tell Camille, yo, bro, you can't save people, you just have to let them be. And Camille goes, yo, I ain't having any of that, and decides to go and find 4 on his own. Camille sneaks into the Titan's base. He is able to sense her. While walking around, 4 stumbles onto Camille. She seems to be back to her normal self. Meanwhile, Jared, who is also at this base, happened to see 4 and Camille. Camille is wondering why she is acting normal again. He mentions her real name, and she almost goes back into shock, but she is fine. She says he is in love with him, but when she gets into the Psycho Gundam, she says she becomes a different person. After they embrace, she has a panic attack and goes for her pills. He goes to take her to the doctor, but she recognizes him as Camille. He smacks up a guard and demands the doctor to tell him about 4. Jared comes in and tries to stop Camille, but 4 knocks him over. The two leave the base. Jared follows the two, but they notice Kuraba coming in to attack. While distracted, Camille punches Jared. Quattro wonders if Camille was able to infiltrate the base. An explosion goes off, and it makes 4 panic. Her cyber new type powers are activated, and she now sees Camille as her enemy. She summons the Psycho Gundam. He tries to prevent her from getting in, but it is pointless. Stop thinking with your dick, Camille. Jamatov Hyman heads out in his shuttle at the base and is getting overrun by the Ayug and Kuraba. Jared heads back to the base and grabs the closest mobile suit. It just so happens to be the Bjarlint. The RX-160 Bjarlint is an Earth atmospheric mobile suit designed to fight in Earth's atmosphere, obviously. It can enter Earth's atmosphere without the help of a base jabber. I have been referring to these as Dodais and subflight systems, but the Titans specifically use the base jabber, which is a Dodai, but worse. The Bjarlin's flight capabilities were achieved through the incorporation of powerful thermonuclear thrusters in its shoulders and waist. It is limited to the megaparticle cannon and beam sabers attached to the unit, as it can't use mass-produced mobile suit weapons. It makes this unit quite tedious to maintain. Because of its weird claw hand, its beam saber has a proprietary handle. Quattro is able to spot Camille on the ground. He tells him to get in the Zeta and stop thinking with his He gets in the Zeta Gundam, but he still intends to save 4. Psycho Gundam fires on Zeta. Amado tries to go into attack, but Camille prevents him. He tries to stop 4 from attacking, but Jared comes in and messes things up. 4 gets new orders. Jamatov Hyman's shuttle is taking off, and she is to protect it. Quattro notices the shuttle and heads towards it. 4's overwhelming cyber-new-type powers distracts Quattro for a second, but he chases the shuttle. That second was enough for Jamatov to escape. As Camille fights Jared, he sees the Psycho Gundam explode from an attack. He goes to protect her. He tells her to get out of the Psycho Gundam. Jared comes in and attacks Zeta, but 4 in the Psycho Gundam gets in front of Jared's beam saber, taking the full force of the attack. He gets out of his Gundam and finds 4. He once again embraces her body as she lays there dying. The GUNPLA makes its way to the battlefield. Everyone retreats but Camille. Quattro tries to give him a pep talk, but they don't have time, so they just grab the Zeta Gundam and grab Camille's body as they escape. As Camille holds 4's dead body, he tells Quattro that he will never call him Quattro again, and he will have to go back to being Char Aznable. Char is preparing for a mission, but he is not piloting a mobile suit this time. Camille is wondering what he is fighting for. Amado tells him that he is fighting to prevent human extinction. Amado is going to transport Char on this mission. Meanwhile, Beltachika is sneaking onto Dakar base as a reporter. A Titan member helps her get onto the base. Back in the sky, the Garuda is getting attacked, and Camille and Amado go out with Quattro on board the DJ. A crew of Asimars head out to attack Karaba. Beltachika meets up with the DJ. Char gets out and gets a ride with Beltachika to the Parliament building. Due to the attack, the Parliament is about to adjourn, but just then the AU busts in and steals the show. Quattro announces himself to Parliament as they are broadcasting to the world. He also tells the world that he is known as Char Aznable during the 1-year war, and that his true name is Cassivel Rem Daikun, son of Zeon. Out on a beach, a woman is listening to the broadcast of Char on the radio. It just so happens to be Salem Mass, Char's sister. Jared launches in the Bjarland. They go and find where the broadcast is happening and see if they can take out the transmission. While this is happening, the Asimars come in and fight Camille. He doesn't want to fight them, but one comes in and attacks. It begins crashing towards the city. Camille goes in and saves him. Both Amado and Camille continue attacking. One of the Asimar pilots notices Jared trying to take out the communications. This is the same Titan member who helped Beltachika earlier. Beltachika broadcasts the Titans shooting on the city, while Char tells Parliament that the Titans are willing to fire on anyone who gets in their way. The one Asimar pilot starts to become conflicted as he is a Titans member. The Asimar pilot decides to attack Jared's team. He doesn't want the broadcast to be cut off. Jared now thinks of this pilot as a traitor. Jared flanks Camille, but the Asimar pilot tries to fight Jared. While fighting, Jared's beam saber hits the Parliament building. Jared takes out the random Asimar pilot. They stop fighting as the Titans finds out that their fighting is being broadcasted. They decide to retreat. The broadcast ends and Salem Ass looks out in the sky. Oh man, Sayla's back. This is gonna be— oh, she's gone. Everyone grabs a glass of whiskey and celebrates. Char goes off on his own, and Amado follows. The two share a romantic moment together. The GUNPLA has made their way out of Dakar. Jared is still following. Char and Camille say their goodbyes to Amado and Karaba. The alarm goes off. Karaba goes to defend as the two make their escape on a shuttle. Amado's DJ team heads out and approaches Jared's team. Camille and Chartro's shuttle waits for the launch. Beltachika mans the turret on the Garuda. Amado is able to take out the enemy's Garuda. It slowly goes down. Chartro launches the shuttle. Jared chases the shuttle, but Amado takes out his subflight system and he falls back towards Earth. Amado wishes the two luck as the two head into space. Chartro tells Camille something is interesting. He says that their forefathers had to endure more G's than they are currently taking on. I wonder how they solved that problem. No more throwing up in space? That's nice. Once they make it to low Earth orbit, they notice that the Argama is being attacked. They lighten the load of the ship and use their thrusters at max to make their way towards the ship. On the battlefield, Apoli is taking on Yazan's team. Fa wants to launch in the Methus, but Bright holds off for now. In the hangar, Shinta and Kum lock themselves in the Methus. The English voice actor Dave Kelly gives Bright the best line read in all of Zeta.
Fa,
Sir?
go to the Methus and give those two a spanking they'll never forget.
Oh, yes, sir.
Fa goes to scold the children, but she uses this opportunity to take the Mythos. Meanwhile, on the Alexandria, Rekua is now with the Titans. She has defected, but even the Titans can't trust her. On the battlefield, Batch and Napoli are fighting Yazan still. Wait, who is Batch? Never mind. Napoli is outnumbered, but Fa comes in with the Mythos to help. The shuttle runs out of fuel. The Hyakushiki hops on the back of the Zeta Gundam, and they head towards the fight. Fa is getting overwhelmed. Yazan destroys the Mythos, but Fa is able to escape. Zeta Gundam catches Fa's pod. She is finally able to accept that she is not a pilot. Bright launches the Mega Launcher for the Hyakushiki. Camille senses someone on the Alexandria. Rekua tells Captain Gatti to watch out for the Mega Launcher. They were able to escape the attack just in time. The Alexandria fleet retreats. Chartreau also senses something interfering. Gatti is slowly gaining trust for Rekua. Back at the hangar, Napoli cries for Batch, while everyone else has a happy ending. Poor guy. We end this episode with Camille taking a shower. That's right, that's how we're ending it. The Argama crew makes their way towards Side 2. Meanwhile, Grips has completed their new headquarters, which now consists of the Gate of Zidane, the former Abawaku, and Luna 2. The former Grips colony, now called Grips 2, has been turned into a colony laser. The Titans are ready to make their move on Granada. After the Titans fired on Parliament back on Earth, the people are concerned over the power given to Jamatov. Bask is concerned about leaving everything in the hands of Sirocco. Bask is going to step in. He is going to create his own cyber new type team. The Titans plan on dealing with Sirocco and Axis after they take Granada. Jamatov puts Sirocco in charge of the Gates of Zidane and will back up Bask, who will be given the Dogos Gyar. Also, look how big Bask's face is right here. Meanwhile, Fa, Emma, Camille, and the children go out on the town. Also in the colony is Rosamia, a cyber new type who fought the Argama crew previously. Emma splits off with the team and Rosamia seems to be tailing the crew. Camille teaches the kids about the colony modules on the outside of the colony. They're mainly for agricultural purposes. At that same time, there just so happens to be mobile suits hiding in the modules. Rosamia notices Camille and begins following him. She acts like a child. This is because she has a split personality thing going on where she takes on either a childlike nature or a cruel personality. Meanwhile, Quattro is scouting outside of the colony modules when the random hidden mobile suits spot him. She pulls out a picture that looks like her and a younger Camille. One of the rogue Hyzaks shoots at Quattro's Hyakushiki. Side 2 is a neutral territory, so Quattro was mad that they are firing. They engage in battle. One of the Hyzaks shoots a hole through the colony, and they escape inside it. Quattro chases them and takes down one enemy, but he causes another hole. He uses his goop to plug up the hole. While out, Kum runs into a little girl. It just so happens to be Mina Vazabi. She hangs out with the kids on the boat, but Haman comes out and tells her to come back on shore. Rosamia tries to play games, but Minerva isn't having any of it.
Woman, don't lie.
Camille and Fa notice that it is Minerva and Haman. Suddenly, the rogue Hyzak and Quattro comes in and attacks. They are firing left and right in the colony.
Don't you understand that you just don't do this in a colony?
One of the Axis members gets in the Gaza Sea. He attacks and destroys the remaining Hyzaks, but damages the colony more. The Gaza Sea pilot gets sucked out of the colony. Quattro makes his escape and meets up with the Argama team. He has to go to the police because he violated neutral territory, but he is sure he won't get into too much trouble as he was just defending himself from rogue Titans. Rosamia is brought on board the Argama. They run into Emma and she starts freaking out. They take her to the detention room to get some rest. Emma and Camille head to the briefing room to meet with Bright about the new colony laser. They need to investigate to see if it is active. Rosamia stumbles into the briefing room before being escorted out. Camille asks Quattro if he truly believes she is a cyber new type. Quattro said he never said that. Did Camille just read his mind? Meanwhile, back on the Jupitris, Sirocco gets all touchy-feely with Rekua. He gives her the masala to use. The Argama crew launches and heads toward Bask's team. This is only meant to be a recon mission. Rekua heads out in the masala and spots Zeta. They engage in battle. Camille isn't able to feel who is in the masala and notes that it isn't Sarah. He goes on ahead while Emma and Apolly take care of the masala. Emma realizes that it is Rekua in the mobile armor. Rekua ignores the two and chases Camille. After she chases, Camille notices and gets the upper hand by destroying its left arm. She gets out of her mobile suit. He notices that it is Rekua. He tells her that she joined the Titans. Camille is upset and says that he could protect her, but she simply calls him foolish. She takes off, but before she goes, she lets Camille know that the colony laser is complete. Camille heads back to the Argama. Emma knows that Camille saw Requa out there on the battlefield, but he plays dumb and says he saw nothing. Emma, handle business. They head to the briefing room where Camille explains to the entire crew the whole situation. Camille compares her defection to Emma's defection from the Titans. She slaps him again. Bright and Quattro tend to believe Requa about the completion of the colony laser, but Emma says they shouldn't believe her. They keep that a secret for now. Of course, Camille doesn't like this. As the AU make their way to Grips 2, Bast fires the colony laser. It hits Colony 18 of Side 2. This was the colony laser at only part of its power. It has the potential to do so much more at 100%. What's happening in the med bay right now?
Boom, hold her legs for me.
Camille convinces Rosamia to get a checkup. Rosamia and Coom show the doctor their tits. Bask wants Requa to lead an operation to gas a colony. She questions Bask. Did you hear that, Bask? You gonna let her talk to you like that?
Who do you think you are?
He tells her that he is trying to bring peace. Hilarious. The Argama preps for launch. Rosamia wants to steal a Gundam. Shinta and Coom convince her to steal one. Quattro is informed by the doctor that Rosamia may be a cyber new type. He goes to investigate while Bright leaves Emma in charge of the team. Shinta and Coom distract the team in the hangar while Rosamia steals a Nemo. Quattro goes back to the Hyakushiki and chases Rosamia. He has no choice but to try to shoot her down. Her moves are insanely good. It is all the proof Quattro needs to know she is a cyber new type. Meanwhile, Requa starts gassing the colony. She was hoping that the AUG would stop her. Camille is able to sense it. They head out towards the colony. Camille engages with Requa. As they are fighting, Rosamia comes in and helps Camille. She is able to shoot down one of the Hyzaks. Camille is also now sure she is a cyber new type. Quattro and Requa meet on the battlefield. She starts calling him Char. Camille gets back into his mobile suit and takes out some Hyzaks, while Rosamia starts freaking out. She starts shaking a dead child that has been killed by the gas. Rosamia gets back into the Nemo and starts fighting Camille. She has switched to her other personality and now sees the Zeta Gundam as her enemy. Quattro is hesitating to shoot Requa. She begins retreating. Rosamia takes off on her own. Camille makes this noise. Granada begins evacuating the citizens. However, many defied the Titans by remaining in the city. Both the Radish and Argama went to Levian Rose to resupply. They are now heading back to Side 2. Emma, Camille, and Quattro meet with the doctor. They find out that Rosamia has steroids and keto-metallothioneine in her body.
The anti-radiation drug?
Exactly, Quattro. Behind Camille's whining, he makes a great point about how creating cyber new types defeat the purpose of new types and natural evolution. The doctor tries to look at Emma's tits.
Onto your top, Emma.
Back at the Dogo Skiar, Rosamia is back on board and she is testing out a new mobile armor. Bask gets a communication that the Alexandria is experiencing engine failure and won't be able to meet up with them. He takes off and leaves Rosamia and Gates in the new Bound Dock. The NRX 055 Bound Dock is a very fast and mobile armor despite the fact that it looks like a crab. It is equipped with a beam rifle, a beam saber, a powerful diffuse megaparticle cannon, a claw arm, and 2 leg claws, but it specifically is equipped with the Psychomu system that can be used by new types and cyber new types. I think that this unit looks extremely ugly. What are your opinions on this unit? Gates will pilot a 2-seater version of the Bound Dock that will be used by the flight instructor. Camille, Quattro, and Emma launch and rendezvous with the AUG Advanced Fleet. Camille wants to bring Rosamia back for Shinta and Coom's sake. The Radish pilots, including Katz, launch as well. The Titans enter Side 2 airspace. The mayor of Side 2 wants to fire on them, while others want to surrender. Luckily, the AUG make their way to the colony to help protect it. A fleet of Hyzaks come in, while one Barzam goes off towards the colony. Fawn the Methys chases the unit until Rosamia in the Bound Dock starts attacking her. Camille in the Zeta comes in and helps Fa. While fighting, Camille senses that it is Rosamia in the mobile suit. She snaps out of it and manifests the childlike personality for a moment. Camille tries to get her to come back to the Argama. She snaps out of it and fires off a round hitting the colony. Her psycho waves controlling the mobile armor go off. They flee into the colony. Camille gets out of his Gundam and tries to get her to come out of the Bound Dock. Camille begins fighting the ship.
Please don't hurt the Bound Dock.
I have to.
It is just an inanimate object, Camille. he is able to get her to calm down. Outside of Colony 13, the Titans are trying to use G3 gas. Quattro wonders if Minerva is still on the colony. He goes in to find out. Quattro goes in and finds one of Minerva Zabi's handmaidens slowly dying. She says to Quattro, calling him Char, he must protect the princess, and that it isn't her fault that she was born into the Zabi family. The handmaiden slowly dies. Camille has finally calmed Rosamia down when Gates comes in his bound dock and freaks her out again. Gate gets out and fights Camille, but once Quattro makes his appearance, he gets back in the mobile armor. They try to take off before Quattro shoots it down. It begins transforming into its mobile armor mode. Rosamia heads out with Gates. It seems that Rosamia doesn't remember him again. Camille gets back into the Zeta and they begin fighting. Though Camille is hesitant, he can't shoot her. The two take off for now. Rosamia and Gates chases after them outside the colony. Once they head out of the colony, they are surrounded by the AUG. They don't fight but are able to retreat. Camille cries out for Rosamia. Meanwhile, the attack on Side 2 was simply a ruse. While they were fighting, Basque makes his way to Granada with the colony laser. Katz and Captain Henkin are on the Argama for a meeting. Apolly tells Katz about Camille's run-in with the cyber-new-type girl that changed him. It seems that the chairman of the AUG, Melanie, wants to try to get Axis to help them take down Grips too. Katz chimes in, but Captain Henkin tells him what's up.
Katz, nobody asked to hear your opinion on this.
Bright and Camille confront Emma and Katz. It seems that Katz is mad that they are trying to work with Axis. Fa seems to have the same opinion as Katz. So Bright decides to confine Katz and Fa to the brig until further notice. Katz gets snippy with Bright. He tries to slap him, but Katz dodges his slap. Oh no, the next generation is evolving. Camille wants to go to the Guadin whenever they do the negotiation. On the Guadin, Haman notices Zeta Gundam approaching their ship. He gets out to a nice welcome party.
Just like the zombies.
Rather than having a delegation come to the Guadin, Haman decides to go visit the Argama. She prepares the Kubli. The AMX-004 Kubli is a mobile suit designed for new types. Its shoulder thrusters give this mobile suit one of the best AMBAC systems of its time. Of course, the Kubli is equipped with the Psychomu system that is mainly used to control the funnels. Gunbits, Dragoon systems, whatever you want to call them, it all started here with the funnel. This unit has 10 funnels stored in its back. It is the obvious evolution from the Elmas bits. Of course, we saw Lala use the Psychomu system in a similar manner. Each funnel is battery powered and charges once it's stored back in the mobile suit. It is also equipped with a beam cannon and beam sabers for close combat, but lacks any mega particle weapons. This is quite a beast of a mobile suit, but what makes this mobile suit interesting, I think, is that it is built to last and it will be Haman's mobile suit of choice, all the way up to UC-0089. They head over to the Argama. Camille checks out her mobile suit. She does a flyby over the Argama's bridge. Quattro recognizes the Kubli and notes that if they are able to produce that mobile suit, then their production capabilities are quite impressive. She boards the ship and demands that the AUG recognize the Zabi family. Bright says that this is acceptable terms. She notes that if they didn't recognize Minerva, then Axis would have probably nuked the Earth. They will give Axis Side 3 in return for their firepower to fight against the colony laser. Quattro bows to Haman as a sign of shame. This pleases Haman and they agree to help. The Argama and Radish head out. Basque and the Titans notice that only 2 ships are trying to attack them right now. They aren't worried. Apolly, Emma, and Camille launch. Quattro wants to launch, but Bright wants him on the bridge. While the AUG is attacking the Titans, Haman watches on. She contacts the Dogo Skiar and tells them that Axis will assist them. She is playing with the Titans. She doesn't want to completely destroy the colony laser, as it may be used to her later. The AUG take out Marasais and Hyzox left and right, when suddenly Rekoa and the Masala comes in attacking. Fa is able to sense the battle and she leaves the brig. Bright relieves Fa and Katz, and they head out for battle. Fa's Methus and Katz Nemo helps out on the battlefield. The AUG aren't getting any communication from Axis and wonders if they are playing them. But suddenly, the Guadin attacks the colony laser. Basque starts punching his own men in anger. The Titans begin diverting their course away from the moon. After the battle, Char, see no glasses, Char. He bows to Minerva Zabi. Char doesn't like the power that they have given the Zabis. Chartro has a little alone time. Haman wants to meet with Jamatov Hyman. She is working with the AUG currently, but Katz is still mad about working with the Zabis. The Guadin approaches the gate of Zidane. Rekoa and Sirocco will head out to the gate of Zidane while Sarah stays behind and watches out for the Argama. Sarah plans on being a decoy for Sirocco. She seems to be jealous of Rekoa. Apolly picks up a radio signal from behind the asteroid. Camille's new type senses start going off. He heads out in the Zeta Gundam. They meet on the battlefield. Sarah is piloting the Pallas Athene. The PMX-001 Pallas Athene is another mobile suit built by Sirocco himself, the first being the Masala. This is a heavy arms unit designed for bombardment and can take out Magellans with ease. This unit is fast, but because of the heavy firepower, this unit is chonky and lacks mobility. It has a mega beam cannon, scattering beam cannon, movable shield, large missiles, twin beam gun, and a foot claw. 2 Hyzaks assist her. Camille is able to take them out relatively quickly. The Pallas Athene begins dropping missiles on Zeta. Camille realizes that he is fighting Sarah. Camille takes out one of her arms and she retreats for now. Camille follows her. After talking with Camille earlier, Bright tells Katz to pilot the Methus. Camille chases Sarah into the asteroid station and tricks her. He tries to convince her that Sirocco does danger touches to women. Haman meets with Jamatov. She actually doesn't want anything from him but his life. She threatens him with cyanide gas and runs away. Well, that was a weird meeting. She heads back to the Guadon and contacts the Ayug. She failed the assassination on Jamatov and begins heading towards the gate of Zidane. Katz still doesn't want to head out, but he hears Sarah's voice. Camille captured her. Katz finally launches as Camille joins up with his comrades. Haman launches traps around the Guadon. Jared and his Bjarlant joins the battle. Haman launches Gaza Seas. Jared is able to take out a Gaza Sea, but he notices that the Ayug is coming to help. Camille and Jared lock eyes and their hate boners go crazy. They engage in battle. Camille uses homing weapons on Jared. Sarah can sense the Jupitress as Camille continues fighting. She tries to sabotage Camille in the cockpit. Katz comes in and tries to help Sarah because he still has a boner for her. Camille knocks out Sarah and begins fighting Jared once again. Luckily, Katz comes in and helps out Camille. Jared retreats for now. Back on the Argama, Sarah is once again a prisoner. At the gate of Zidane, Bask and Jamatov notice that Axis is planning on ramming the fortress with an asteroid. They notice the Ayug is back on their way as well. Sirocco orders Rekkawa to launch in the Pallas Athene and find Sarah. Meanwhile, how's the peepin', Katz? How's that peepin'? Camille comes in and slaps him, telling him to control his boner. The Ayug fleet fires on the gate of Zidane. Their plan is to make sure no Titans flee while Axis rams the Titan base. Everyone but Fa launches. Jamatov is planning on making his escape on the Dogo Skiar, while Bask leads the attack. Rekkawa in the Pallas Athene tries to escape the area. She gets behind the Argama and fires on the ship. Camille tries to stop her with his new type senses, but it doesn't work. Fa heads out in the Methus and fights Rekkawa. Camille notices that Fa is on the battlefield. Once again, Sarah escapes from the Argama and takes the Pallas Athene from the hangar. Fa and Rekkawa get out of their mobile suits. Fa realizes it is Rekkawa. She once again pisses off the trans community.
In this world of ours, you're either a man or a woman. Politics and ideology have nothing to do with that.
As they argue with one another, Camille comes bursting in. Rekkawa heads back to her mobile suit. Fa can't bring herself to shoot her. Katz finds Sarah on the battlefield, and she wants Katz to shoot her. She tells Katz that she will never love him. Emma comes in and says what everyone is thinking.
Katz, shoot her down!
Sarah retreats back to Sirocco's ship. On Axis, most of its people have moved to the extra asteroid Mosa. Remember, when Xion fled to Axis after the fall of Abawaku, Axis's population increased vastly. Mosa was an added asteroid to accommodate its people. It now detaches from Axis as the asteroid is on a collision course with the Gate of Zidane. Rekkawa and Camille does a Star Wars. Jared notices and tries to get in on the battle, but Fa comes in and attacks Jared. Jared gets the upper hand on Fa, but Apolly comes in to help her out. Jared comes in and shoots down the Rick Diaz, killing Apolly. This sets off Camille. He attacks Jared. The asteroid moves closer towards the Gate of Zidane. 3 minutes until they make contact. Bright calls all the mobile suits back. Jared and Camille continue fighting as 2 asteroids make impact with one another. The Dogo Skiar is fleeing the scene. Bask and Jamatov takes off. They're able to dodge all of the debris. Some Magellans aren't so lucky. The Hyakushiki pulls Camille out of his rage from Jared. They head back to the ship. The team mourns the loss of Apolly, but the Titans have been hurt badly by this attack. Ayug leader Melanie Hugh Carbine meets with Haman and Minerva for the first time. The Titans have lost their greatest stronghold and must regroup, but the war is not over for them. Sirocco is heading out to meet with Haman and Axis to negotiate on behalf of the Titans. Sarah is still jealous of Rekkawa. Sirocco launches in the O. The PMX-003, the O, is the fourth mobile suit created by Sirocco. This unit has a special control interface that Sirocco made specifically for himself. It has a thermonuclear reactor that you would typically find on a battleship. Even though this is a big mobile suit, it has the thrust power to go as fast as a mobile armor. The O is only equipped with 4 beam sabers and a beam rifle. However, it does have a sub-arm, so the O could wield all 4 swords at once, something that no other mobile suit could do, allowing the O to excel at close quarters combat. It also has a biosensor, which is very similar to the Psychomu system. The Argama finds out that Sirocco and Haman are meeting with one another. Kats finds out of this information and freaks out and launches in the G-Defensor. Rekoa decides to remain outside in her mobile suit while Sirocco and Sarah do the talking. Minerva meets with Char. She informs him that she is switching ships. This makes Char wonder what Haman is planning on. Kats tries to land on the Guadan, while the Zeta Gundam sneaks on board without permission. They take Kats as prisoner, but he grabs the guard's gun and sneaks away. Meanwhile, Char finds Kats fighting a soldier when he comes in and helps. Haman, Jamatov, and Sirocco meet for the final time. Kats heads back to the hangar while Chartro deals with Haman. He comes into the meeting and begins shooting Sirocco in the arm. Sarah's cyber-new type senses go off and she shoots the meeting room. As the smoke clears, Sirocco tells Jamatov that this was a setup for him. Sirocco shoots and kills the leader of the Titans. Kats and Camille get back to their mobile suits, as does Sirocco and Sarah. They blast a hole in the Guadan and escape. Kats follows. Sirocco lies and tells the world that Haman killed Jamatov and that everyone should shoot down the Guadan. Everything is going to hell on the battlefield. Haman meets Sirocco, and they begin fighting. Sarah tries to flank her. She uses her funnels and takes out Rekoa's guns. No one can spot the funnels' attack. Sirocco focuses and is able to sense the funnels. He takes out 2. They stop fighting with their mobile suits and start fighting with their new type senses. Kats comes in and shoots at Sirocco, but Sarah jumps in and protects him, taking the brunt of the force. Kats accidentally kills Sarah. Sirocco is enraged by Sarah's death. He goes in to attack Kats, but the Ayug fleet, including Quattro, comes to the battlefield. Rekoa retreats while Haman watches from afar. The Guadan explodes, and Kats cries out for Sarah. One thing I forgot to mention last time was the Bolanok Saman. The PMX-002 Bolanok Saman is a seek and destroy mobile suit. It is equipped with a pair of 3-tube rocket launchers, a shield which contains beam sabers, a grappling hook, and beam guns. It doesn't have too many armaments because of the surveillance units built into its head and forearms. Sarah was piloting this unit, not the Pallas Athene. This is the 3rd mobile suit created by Sirocco, which rounds out his collection of units. Camille goes out in the Zeta Gundam, but before going out, Shinta and Kunt give off ominous vibes towards Camille. Kats is still being Kats, and he is trying to sortie without permission. He takes off in the G-Defensor. Fa launches as well. Bright is losing control, but luckily he mentions they will be a diversion for Operation Maelstrom. Kats meets up with Camille. Tired of his shit, Camille points his beam rifle at Kats and tells him he will shoot him down if he doesn't follow orders and return to the ship. Fa and the Methus comes in and stops Camille from shooting his comrade. After the fall of the Gate of Zidane, Axis claimed the colony laser for themselves. They plan on using it on Granada, just as the Titans wanted to. The operation involves Ayug circling Axis, moving closer and closer in, until they can take control of the colony laser. Quattro and Emma launch. The operation begins. Lieutenant Body is now in command of the Rick Diaz team. I miss Appley. Haman is taking command now from the Guanban class ship. Remember last time, the Guadan was destroyed. The Guanban is smaller than the Guadan and the Guazine classes, but it still packs a powerful punch. It's like when the PlayStation releases their PS Slim line of consoles. It has 3 retractable megaparticle cannons and 6 single-barreled cannons and could carry and maintain up to 18 mobile suits. Haman notices her forces are spreading out too thin. Camille is getting impatient as he waits for Haman to come to the battlefield. Lieutenant Body and Quattro take out the electrical circuits on the colony. The colony laser can't be fired anymore. Bright tells Shinta and Kunt that a maelstrom is a sort of whirlpool, which is what the Ayug fleet is acting like. A giant whirlpool as they swallow the colony. Meanwhile, is Camille really just gonna wait around for Haman this whole episode? Luckily, Haman decides to finally sortie. Minerva Zabi goes to visit Haman. She doesn't want her to go out because she has a sick feeling in her stomach. It seems that she too is exhibiting new type potential. Haman recognizes this as well. She takes off with her squad. Kats is the first to run into her. He is hit, but Fa Fa helps him out. Haman is able to sense Camille as he comes in and attacks. The physical fighting soon turns into a new type psychic battle. Everyone is able to sense it. Camille thinks of all the women in his life. He then senses his mother for the first time in a while. It seems that their thoughts are intermingling with one another. Camille says that we can actually understand each other with these powers, but Haman snaps them out of it. They begin fighting again in their mobile suits. Out of nowhere, Katz comes in and attacks the Quibbly. Haman tears through the G-Defensor and the Methus. Camille says that Haman doesn't deserve to live anymore. He uses his anchor wire on the Quibbly and disables its left arm. He comes in and destroys the left arm with his beam saber. She retreats. The Methus and G-Defensor are fine. The Zeta goes to help out the Argama. Axis has abandoned the colony laser and is now in the hands of the AU. But the Axis asteroid is still on course with Granada. Everyone regroups on the Argama. They make their way towards the moon, but for now, Camille plays with Shinta and Kum as he promised. The Minovsky particle density is too high, and they can't contact the Radish currently with their communication array. But the one on Axis might work. Camille comes in and says he should have ended Haman's life. In a we should watch out for this kid kind of way, Bright orders him to get some rest. Quattro says he is starting to act more like a soldier. He stumbles onto Fa. Camille tells Fa that he thinks he is starting to realize his purpose in life. He goes to get some rest. Back with the Titans, Rosamia is piloting the new Psycho Gundam with gates close by in the bound dock. The MXR-010 Psycho Gundam Mark II, like the original, is a giant mobile suit that can transform into a mobile fortress. It has improved firepower with reduced energy output. Oh man, I love efficient murder machines. Of course, this also is equipped with the Psychomo system. The cockpit is in the head like the original, but the Mark II head can detach and be used as an escape pod. This unit also has bits, but they aren't used for attacking. Rather, they are used for deflecting its own beam attacks, making this unit truly a beast. It has a series of beam cannons, a wired Psychomo beam sword, and a shield. This unit will play a bigger role in Double Z. It seemed that they convinced Rosamia that Gates is their brother, and that seemed to have calmed her down a little bit. Yazan is being rowdy on the bridge, and Bask tells him to wait in the hangar. The Argama gets close to Axis and boards the asteroid. They notice that the air isn't even stale yet, so they evacuated recently. They split up and look around. Torres goes to look for the communications array. On the outside, Bright is still trying to throw bombs on the asteroid to try to change its course. As this happens, the team is on the inside, you know, where they could be affected. Kind of weird. Weird strategy, for sure. Rosamia and Camille start to sense one another. Camille wonders if it is for initially, while Rosamia goes looking for the Argama. Zeta goes out and launches as the Psycho Gundam comes rushing in. She sees the Zeta Gundam and starts freaking out and attacking. Camille realizes that it is Rosamia. The two engage in battle, but Psycho Gundam is too big and gets stuck. They both get out of their mobile suits and begin shooting at one another. He hears For's thoughts inside of Rosamia. She falls through a decompressed area. She happened to fall right inside of Axis and stumbles onto Fa, but she doesn't remember her. Camille comes in and the two try to get her to remember each other. She runs out and looks for her real brother, Gates. They both run back to their mobile suits. The Psycho Gundam begins firing in all directions. Camille tries to stop Rosamia from attacking the Argama, but Camille is forced to shoot her down. He hears For in his head yelling out to shoot. He listens to the voice in his head and shoots. Rosamia is killed. Meanwhile, Siroko's forces come onto the battlefield. Rekoa is in the Palace of Thane and destroys the Dogos Gyar, killing Bask. While all this was going down, Taurus was on Axis and sent a message to Grips 2. He tells them to fire the laser at Axis. The laser hits the colony and luckily diverts the asteroid from hitting Granada. Camille thinks that neither new types nor cyber new types can really make a difference on the battlefield. The Argama makes its way back to Grips. The Radish and the Aug fleet are being bombarded by both the Axis fleet and the Titans fleet. They must retreat. The Aug ship, the Renee, is destroyed. Captain Hinken is getting worried and hopes that the Argama can make it back quickly. The Mark II, G-Defensor, and Zeta Gundam launch when suddenly, surprise Boundock. Surprise Jared. They begin battling. Katz and Emma stay close as they are attacked by Yazan's team. Katz helps Emma from Yazan. Camille is able to sense that Katz and Emma are struggling. He goes to help them. Emma and Katz dock to create the Super Gunman. Katz ejects in his pod, but he still wants to fight. Emma takes out one of Yazan's men. This frustrates Yazan. He goes after Katz, but he's able to dodge his attacks. Unfortunately, Katz wasn't able to dodge an asteroid right in front of him. As he crashes, Yazan fires on his ship. His ship flies out of control and runs into debris, killing Katz. Before dying, he was able to hear Sarah's voice. Katz lived life based off the decisions of his boner, and he died based off the decisions of his boner. I applaud his consistency. The Mark II is taking on Yazan alone. She is getting destroyed, but the Radish comes in and blocks the mobile suit. Uh-oh, Captain Henkin is starting to think with his boner. Yazan goes in and destroys the Radish, killing Captain Henkin and his men. Camille and Jared continue fighting. Jared calls him a murderer, but Camille refuses to see it that way. He destroys Jared with relative ease. What are Jared's last words?
If it weren't for you,
Quite hilarious. This scene actually plays out better in Japanese. Camille is witnessing everyone die around him, and he is starting to freak out. He once again fires out in anger. Camille goes to save Emma. She is in shock as well. They get her back to the Argama. The Guanban begins coming in and making their attack. Bright sends out the mega launcher for the Hyakushiki. Haman and the Axis fleet head out. Her fleet is getting picked off. It is Sirocco. As the two engage in battle, Quattro uses the mega launcher on both fleets. Sirocco comes in with the O and takes out his mega launcher. Yazan and Rekawa begin working together to try to destroy the Zeta Gundam. Rekawa in the Palace Athene begins shooting at Camille, but Emma returns in a very beaten up Mark II. She can't fly and has to use a sub-flight system. She gets spicy with Rekawa.
I don't think anyone will shed a tear for you when you're gone.
They begin battling with their beam sabers. Zeta tries to stop the two, but he is too late. Emma tears through the Palace Athene. Emma and Camille go to the wrecked mobile suit when her remains are shot down. It is Yazan and his Ham Brabi. A force field surrounds the Zeta Gundam, protecting Camille from attacks. Remember, the Zeta Gundam has a quasi-Psychomu system installed, and it is unknown about its limitations of the device, so I imagine this is what is at play here. This also seems to be the advent of a future Space Ghost phenomenon that we'll see soon. Camille destroys the Hambrabi, but Yazan is able to eject. Emma is badly injured. Camille brings her to the colony laser as the battle continues on. Camille holds Emma. She is barely hanging in there. She looks at Camille and reminds him that there are so many people that are always watching over him. As she says this, Emma dies in Camille's arms. Quattro is trying to prevent Sirocco from taking out the colony laser, but Haman in the Kubli is also chasing both of them. Sirocco is able to get a hit on Quattro when Haman comes in and double teams him. The Hyakushiki loses an arm and a leg as he runs off. The Argama is taking heavy damage. They are waiting for the colony laser to be able to fire once again. Within the colony, Quattro, Sirocco, and Haman have themselves a little bit of a Mexican standoff. Haman entices Quattro to come to serve the Zabi family. Camille finally barges in and helps Quattro. Then Fa comes in and helps Camille. As the shooting begins, the three take off. They are about to fire the laser and need to get out of there. Rips 2 is finally able to fire, but Bright notices Camille is still fighting in the danger zone. Haman's funnels are distracting Zeta Gundam, but Quattro and Fa pull Zeta out of the range of the laser. As he moves out of the way, Bright fires the colony laser. It destroys the majority of the Titans' fleet, including Captain Gaddy. The Titans have essentially lost this war. After the laser fired, Sirocco and Camille continue fighting while Quattro and Haman fight. He confines Haman to a tight area so she can't fire off her funnels. But little does he know that 2 funnels were already deployed and destroys Quattro's 2 remaining limbs. Haman goes in to kill Quattro, but he shoots a weak spot in the abandoned Magellan and shoots it with his Vulcans. The Kubli takes off and the ship explodes. Haman is upset that it has come to this, thinking that she just killed Shar. Back with the O and the Zeta, Camille begins talking to himself, and Sirocco is very confused. He is actually talking to everyone who has died in his life. Sarah is still trying to protect Sirocco, even as a dead new type ghost. Katz's ghost convinces Sarah to help Camille. All the new types join with Camille, and they overclock his brain. Is this safe? Yeah, that's probably safe. Camille goes in and charges towards the O in his mobile armor form and crashes right into Sirocco. He is penetrated. Nice. Sirocco tries to self-destruct, but Fa comes in and saves Camille. Fa goes in and asks if Camille is okay.
'Cause comets move like soon.
Uh-oh, I think the new types broke his brain. Fa takes what remains of Zeta and the Mark II back to the Argama as the remains of the Hyakushiki pass by. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. If you watch the movies, they give Camille a happier ending and some of the white base crew a bigger role. If you have seen both the movies and the TV show, which ending do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. The AUG was able to destroy the majority of the Titans during this final battle, but it also left the AUG barely hanging on by a thread. Most of their best pilots are gone, leaving both the AUG and Titans weak. This will allow Axis Zeon, who will soon change their name to Neo Zeon, to come in and take control of the Earth sphere. And that is exactly what we will see play out as we move on to Mobile Suit Gundam Double Z. This show will pick up directly after the events of this battle as we see the Arkema dock for repairs and meet the boy from Shangri-La. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, make sure you know how many new type ghosts you could keep inside of you before you fry your brain. Peace.